Devastation of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil. My co-hosts are both sick, so they're not here. But I'm joined by Allen Danziger, Jerry of Texas Chain Saw Massacre, we're 50th anniversary, and Ray Spivey of Weedhacker Massacre, which we're also going to be talking about. It's cool to have you both here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. So we're going to talk about both things, but I do want to ask right off, since it's the 50th anniversary, how Allen, has your feelings of being part of Texas Chain Saw Massacre changed over the years? You know, from right after it was made to maybe 10 or 20 years till today.
Well, frankly, I'm starting to like the movie.
Well, I'm glad it's grown on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that when we were filming it, I don't think any of us thought it was going to turn out the way it did. I think back then there was a phrase to say it's a turkey. That wasn't a good thing. And I think we all thought that, but when they changed the name from Stalking Leatherface or Head Cheese to the Texas Chain Saw Massacre, and when they edited it, and with the music and the epilogue prologue, that with that John Larroquette, that just set the stage for it to become what Quentin Tarantino referred to as a perfect movie.
Yeah.
So here and now, as in our 50th year, I'm traveling all over. The fans have been, fantastic, and they love having us and talking to us. So it's all good. Here I am coming to the coda of life, and that people want to still talk to me. And I'm 81 now. It feels great. It feels great.
Yeah. Was there ever a point you didn't like to talk about the movie?
I think after it came out, my background was in social work, and I was working with, in a mental health, kind of facility. So I didn't want to talk about it at all. And when people asked me about it, I pretended like I didn't know what they were talking about. But then, as the years took off or changed, and then, I started my own entertainment company, I became more available to talk about it. And then when we did our first reunion, which was Cinema Wasteland, and I honestly thought I'd be meeting serial killers, or wannabes, and it turned out that these were the nicest people, and they just saw me as fresh meat back in the day. So, it's all good, and now, getting involved with Ray and the Weedhacker Massacre, I'm having the time of my life, Neil.
So, Ray, give us an idea of what Weedhacker Massacre is.
Sure. Allen had an idea, and it was kind of based upon when he was in his youth. He had this wonderful head of hair. It was absolutely magical.
And then now it's people can see it forever.
That's right. That's right. So we built the story kind of around it and came up with some new characters and things like that. And he's just had a blast. He keeps coming up with ideas, and then he's amazed that it shows up in the script. And he's had a lot of fun with it. So we've got this marvelous cast. We have one more day of filming after tomorrow.
Sweet.
I just left the set to be with Allen and you, and it's going great out there. We're just having a great time. And tomorrow we are actually crashing a car. So this is going to be pretty cool. We got champagne bottles ready, and it's been a hell of a car for us. It's a 1976 Ford station wagon painted banana yellow with beautiful wood paneling. A classic.
That's sweet. That's the year I was born, 76.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, very nice. So, is this a feature film, the Weedhacker Massacre?
It is. It is. It's a full comedy / horror film.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, playing off the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. It's weird because I think some people don't see a lot of comedy in the original Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Or they see it a lot in the second one. But as I get older, I see a lot of dark comedy in the original Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and there's a lot of those lines, that are almost like throwaway lines where, hey, you guys quit goofing on me, or he's going to get you. He knows where you live. I even gave him your zip code. I mean, that's some funny stuff back then.
Yeah, and Jim Sedow, I think his performance throughout the whole thing is very funny.
Oh yeah. Look what your brother did to the door after he slashes, the heck out of it. And I mean, little lines like, "You think this is a party?" I mean, there's funny stuff all the way, and, along with Leatherface when he's running after Sally, and he does almost like a Keystone Cops, type of turn. There's a lot of funny stuff in it. I'm surprised that a bunch of people don't pick up on that, but there's a lot of stuff in it.
What was Jim Speedow like off camera? Because he's someone unfortunately I never got to meet.
Well, something, I really didn't get to know him. I mean, I never saw him off camera. I mean, one of my funniest scenes that I remember, unfortunately at Jim's expense, is when we pull into the gas station and he comes out and tells us that he's got no gas, and I inadvertently, and then that troll looking guy, is splashing soapy water on my windshield. I inadvertently hit the windshield wiper and it splashed all this soapy water on Jim Speedow's face. And he's trying to deliver his line with soapy water dripping down. And both Bill Vale, Kirk, and myself, we lost it. And take after take, we just couldn't do it. And in fact, Toby got so upset that he walked off the set. And I believe Kim Hinkle had to finish it up. So, but I met him, I think, once or twice after. He was just a wonderful guy.
Yeah. Now you worked with Toby before Texas with for movie Eggshell. So how did you meet him originally?
I met him, I think, in a social setting. He was friends with the neighbors downstairs, Sally Richardson, who actually was the assistant, I think, director on Eggshells. And so I met Toby, and when he was doing Eggshells, the couple that was ostensibly the movie was about, they were doing volunteer work with me. I was working with the folks in East Austin, and he asked if he could come and shoot a scene at my house. And from that, it developed where he had me in the movie throughout the whole time. And that's the reason, I guess, when the movie came out, nobody saw it. I think about 30 people saw that movie. And I didn't hear anything for about 4 years, and then I got a call. And I think it might have been Toby, it could have been Kim. I don't remember, it's so long ago. And they said they wrote this movie and they had this part for me to play. I wasn't an actor, and you look at some of the reviews of the movie, you understand why they were saying that. So, it was just one of those things.
But in Eggshells, you did come up with an iconic line well before somebody did. Right?
That's true. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. And the check's in the mail. And there's a line where have you seen Eggshells, Neil?
I have not, unfortunately.
I can't talk to you then. I'm sorry.
The interview is over.
We're at a stairway, and Kim Hinkle, who wrote Chainsaw, is reading poetry to me, some kind of gibberish. And I'm looking around like, how did I get into this situation? And I finally look up and I say, are you talking to me?
Oh, wow.
That line was said 7 years before Taxi Driver, before Robert De Niro uttered that line. So I never got my props for that. And I'm still looking for somebody that could take this up, as a pro bono or Sonny Bono or Perry Como or just plain Bono, to help me out. But that's show business.
But in Taxi Driver, they actually showed a clip of Chainsaw, right?
That's right. That's why I believe that they must have
interesting.
That movie, because the clip of Chainsaw with Robert De Niro and the guy that wrote.
Paul Schrader's actually been on the show, the author of Taxi Driver. I'm going to get him back on now and ask him about
Bring him back and ask him if he saw Eggshells. If he did, then I know where I'm going next. And I'm going to legal aid. I'm going to legal aid.
You mentioned Kim Hinkle. Do you think he gets enough credit for writing Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because his name, I think hardcore horror fans know him, but I don't think it's really he's not a widely known guy, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's just a very kind of a quiet, unassuming guy. And he's just not, I think he's not comfortable, being in the forefront. Although in Eggshells, he takes all of his clothes off and he runs naked. I couldn't do that. But things have changed over the years. But he's a terrific guy. Terrific.
Yeah. Well, it's the quiet ones you have to watch out for.
Exactly.
Toby Hooper, and I've got to be honest, I've talked to a lot of people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some of them don't say a lot of good things about Toby Hooper. What were your thoughts on Toby?
Well, and I kiddingly say he died by popular demand, but I'm joking.
I'm sorry to laugh at that, but yeah.
He actually, he was very nice to me. I met him in a social setting, and he was nice to me. So, I guess it depended on the situation. He had some issues and some problems, and that might have affected. But he knew what he wanted in Chainsaw, because he kept us apart. You know, the victims. I never saw Leatherface in his costume until I get killed. So my reaction was truly my reaction after, you know, when I see him.
Yeah. On one of the commentary tracks, Gunnar actually says, so the first take of that scene, you scream and you actually ran out of the room.
You are correct, sir. In fact, they ended up yelling cut and coming over and saying, you got to wait for Leatherface to come into the frame. I still was freaked out. So after about 2 more takes, they finally put some grips behind me and they pulled me down, you know, by my belt loops, just as that sledgehammer came down. And, you know, that's 50 years ago and I'm still getting headaches, Neil. It was rough. It was rough.
Just one thing, so I can get another check. But you actually had Toby show you the first cut of the film or something, and you kind of
yeah, because he asked me, he said, Alan, what do you think I could do, you know, to make the movie a little better? And I said, have the seats facing away from the screen. And he never invited me back. But that tells you how much I knew about movies, because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. When was the first time you saw the finished film?
I saw it at the what's now the Alamo Draft House, and I went in just to see the coming attractions. And no sooner did I see and my face up there, I got so anxious I went screaming out of the theater. And then stupidly, my son was like 5 or 6 at the time. I decided to take him just to show him that his dad's in the movie, you know, just the coming attractions. And that's almost 50 years ago, and he's still in weekly therapy. So, you know, go figure.
Well, it's a good thing you have training. You can help him out.
Exactly.
So, Ray, when's the first time you yourself saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, it was a few years before you were born. I was in high school, and I actually saw it in a theater. I want to say 74. Is that?
It came out in 74.
Yeah, so I think it was then, and you know, I think the thing that grabbed us the most about it, we really thought it was a true story. Mm-hmm. And living in Houston, Texas at the time, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, that could have happened like 19 miles from us up in East Texas. So yeah.
So it stuck with you, I suppose. When did you start talking with Alan?
Alan and I didn't meet till about 3-4 years ago. My mom went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor had worked with Alan years before, and set up. He told Alan I was doing a horror movie, and would Alan like to be in it? And we met, and we've hit it off since then. Been best friends, or almost best friends since then. And so yeah, he was in my last film, Storage Locker, and then he had this idea for this one, and I am at his command, trying to make his dreams come true.
Well, it's exciting that you go on. Sorry,
my dream is to become the Colonel Sanders of horror.
Yeah, you found KSC much later in life, and now you need a white suit.
Yeah, well, I can get it. And a goatee.
And a goatee. I think you can handle both of those.
I hope so.
So, how close were you to the rest of the cast at the time? You said you didn't really talk to, I guess, the family you weren't really close with, but how about the rest of the cast?
Well, actually, I mean, I got to be pretty friendly with Bill Bale and Terry, you know, and actually Ed Neal. We were pretty friendly together. Gunnar, I didn't really meet until after the movie was over. And the funny thing is, he stayed with me the summer before he moved to Maine, and we became very good friends. And I miss him all the time, you know. And Marilyn, I really didn't know while we were making the movie. And then later on, she was just a wonderful person. I mean, I missed all those years, and and she just was a sweetheart. But when that movie was made, there's just a lot of friction, intense, you know, stress on the set. Things were changed every day. You know, we didn't know it was brutally hot, you know, in the van. And fortunately, I didn't have to spend much time in the house other than to get killed. But it got pretty rank there. You know what I mean? The rotting bones and the rotting meat, and then Gunnar wearing that same costume. There's no amount of Febreze, you know, could see what was going on there.
And it was over 100 degrees in the van.
Oh yeah.
Because they shot it during summer in Texas, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, and so after every few takes, the girls would go into this makeup trailer and get their faces done, their hair done. And I'm watching this, and I said, "Man, I got to take advantage of this." So after one take, I just slipped out of the van and went into the trailer. And no sooner did I sit down, they came running over and said, "Alan, there's nothing we can do for you. Get out of here." So that's it.
On that same commentary track I mentioned, Gunnar was talking. They said that you actually got angry during the van scene. Do you remember anything about that?
No, I don't. I don't remember. I don't remember getting angry. I mean, I really had a great time. And one of the things about is I got to meet John Henry Falk, who's in one of the opening scenes. And as a kid, I used to listen to a radio show in New York, and he was just a wonderful. He just had me spellbound. And so I listened to him tell stories on going to the set. And so it really, in a lot of ways, it was a magical time for me.
Yeah, I looked him up actually recently because when I was listening to commentary track, a lot of the people were talking about him, and he's a historic figure. And do you know how he got involved in the movie?
No, I don't. I mean, somehow through probably contacts, they reached out, and asked if he would be in it. And I mean, Ron Bozeman was the producer, and he went on to win an Academy Award, for I think Silence of the Lamb. And on a long shot, he asked Ron Bozeman, I'm over it now. He asked to borrow my shirt that I wear in the movie. I never got that shirt back. It was my favorite shirt. So I hated him for many years, but I got over it.
All right. Does he still have the shirt, or?
He doesn't, but I may see him at Frightmare, and I'm going to corner him.
So Frightmare, you've got a lot of, because this is a big year, 50th anniversary, and you kind of joked early about like the first time I win, am I going to meet a bunch of serial killers or whatever? But seriously, going into your first convention, were you all on board right away, or did like people have to talk you into it?
No, they did. I mean, I don't think Terry did one for a while, and I'm not sure that Bill did. So. But when Gunnar talked to me as a friend, I said, well, I'll give it a shot. What I was amazed at is I'm sitting there, and Ed and Gunnar, they had a whole line of merchandise. They had photos, they had everything. And I'm looking and saying, I'm dead in the water. I got nothing. I had one black and white photo, and I'm saying, it's over for me. But then I realized they bring all their stuff for you to sign. So they brought chainsaws and posters and whatnot, and casts. A couple of people had a cast on their arm. We signed that, so it was really eye opening, but in a fun way.
Yeah. What are some of the more the more stranger things that you've signed over the years?
I mean, casts. I think I may have signed a couple of breasts in my time. I'm not sure. And then they have automobiles, they have saws, they have blades, they have lampshades, you name it, they got it, and we sign it. They got Funko things, whatever comes, they got the cudgels or the hammers, they brought those, whatever you can imagine. And some of the artistic stuff that some of these folks have come up with. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
But you come up with your own products now, so you got a lot of things.
Yeah, I've got my own talking bobblehead. I've got T-shirts. I mean, you got to get with the program.
Yeah, of course.
Bobblehead Hall of Fame.
Correct. That is correct. And when I was at CreepyCon, can you see this?
Yeah.
It's a mini me. This is little Chainsaw Jerry. This was crocheted by a lovely lady.
That's great.
Yeah. And so I take this, it's like a good luck charm.
Yeah. Let's see here. Annabelle, who's my co-host here, but is sick at the moment. Hello there for Jerry. It has sounded like from other guests that everyone was on edge because of how hot it was. I think that's us being a human. I know I'm not a great mood when it's too hot.
Yeah. No, and there was no air conditioning in the van. And then you've got people, you got the sound guy and Daniel Pearl and Ted Nicolai. And you got Toby, and it usually has a cigar. He's like a Eric von Stroheim type of character. So it was brutal. But looking back, it's what made that movie so believable.
Yeah.
The grittiness, the sweat. You can't beat that. And I think that's what people to this day say. It's so believable what happened to us.
Yeah, the I mentioned this before on the show. So Annabelle and I went to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre years ago for on a 35 millimeter print at a theater we go to. They do midnight movies, and it was actually a bad print, but it added to the movie. And then at the same theater we went to see, it was like a restored version, and it was clearest I've ever seen it. But I actually thought it was way less powerful, all cleaned up. And I think the movie works much better when it's a grainier cut of the film, because it almost feels like you're watching something you're not supposed to be watching.
Yeah, but even with the graininess, I mean, it was really beautifully shot. You know, and some of that has to do with Daniel Pearl. He did a masterful job, and I think it was his first movie. He was like, what, 26?
Yeah,
You know, 27, and he's gone on to a very, very illustrious career, doing a lot of music videos for Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, all kinds of folks. And everybody that I've gotten to know after the movie, I mean, they're all done real well, and they're wonderful people.
yeah, like the shots, when they're walking up to the house and you can see the real pretty sky and the sun shining down, which kind of adds to the feeling of the heat and stuff. All that stuff looks great.
Oh
And the
yeah,
first time you see Leatherface,
you know, to catch me walking up to the house. It's beautifully shot.
Mhm. This might be kind of a weird question, but in the van scene, since all the other actors, they're looking at the hitchhiker, talking to him, and you're mostly looking the other way because you're driving.
Right.
Was that awkward at all? Because you kind of have your back to everybody.
You know, I don't remember. I mean, I had the rear view mirror, so I could catch glance. I guess I wasn't driving that fast. I never got pulled over, so it worked out. It worked out.
What did your family think when they see the movie and they see you getting killed? Pretty hardcore in the movie.
That's an interesting thing. When the movie came out, my parents were retired and living in Florida, which is the law, if you're over a certain age. And when the movie came out, it's 1974. They ended up seeing it in a porno theater, and it was a double feature. The second feature was Debbie Does Dialysis. I'm kidding about that. But when I go into the house, this really did happen. My mother started getting up and screaming in her native language, which was no language. My mother spoke no language. She just grunted. And
much like Leatherface.
Yeah, she started screaming for me not to go into the house, and I think one of the managers almost threw her out of the theater. And then when they got home, they called me just to make sure I was still alive.
That's pretty big. How about Terry in that scene's great too, when she comes out of the freezer and she's like all kind of jiggling her. I mean, that's a pretty scary scene.
Oh yeah, no. I mean that whole thing scared the living daylights out of me. And I think I'm number 8 on all-time screams when the actor didn't know what was going to be happening.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie many times, and I watched it again last night, for the interview, and I know the movie stuff, but it could not just you hear, but I mean, the movie completely holds up. I think Tarantino's right; it's a perfect horror movie.
Yeah.
And did you ever pick up a hitchhiker after doing
Absolutely
the movie?
Not. That was it. I learned my lesson. I'm not that stupid.
How about head cheese? Ever eat any head cheese?
I have, and I've developed a fondness for it.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. I put it in sandwiches and stuff like that with corned beef and pastrami. It adds a little flair to it.
Yeah, my grandparents originally from Pennsylvania, and they actually owned a butcher shop, and they made head cheese there. So I knew about head cheese when I was young, but I can't say I don't remember. I can't remember how it tasted. But.
Not to digress too much, but a few years ago, I was scrolling through a Chainsaw fan website, and as I was scrolling, I saw a van on blocks, and the fan had said that looks just like the van from Chainsaw, and there was a phone number on it, and so I said, well, what the heck, I'll just call the number, and I'm sure that it's not there anymore. And so the phone rang, and the fellow that answered the phone, his name was still is Scott Key. And just as a kidding or opening, I said, "Are you by any chance related to Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?" Yeah. As a matter of fact, I am.
Here you're just trying to be goofy, and he really is. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially that bridge that collapses was the Francis Scott Key bridge, sadly, that collapsed.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, I'm sure you don't have it, but by any chance, do you still have that van? He said, yes, I do. I said, I've gotten a number of calls, but nothing. I said, well, I'm the OG. You know, I was the driver. I guess I got to get it. And he told me the price, which I thought, you know, wasn't too bad. And he said it needs a gas tank. It's been up on blocks. So I said, well, big deal. You know, if I can get it, put a gas tank. And he's in North Dakota. So I said, gee, I don't have really a way. He said, I'll bring it down. I'll trailer it down for you. So we worked the deal. He brought it down. I then took it to my mechanic, Chris, and he put it together. And that van is a 74, same year that the movie came out. The van that I drove in the movie is a 72. This is as close as it can be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got the wheelchair. I've got the can that Franklin used to relieve himself. And I have a pretty good duplicate of Franklin also. So now we're ready to go on our tour, you know, so that people can take pictures with the van, take pictures with us. And it's just a great time.
That sounds awesome. So, like, do you have a website, you know, people can go to see where you'll be?
Do. It's chainsawjerry.com.
All right, and I'll put that in the description so people.
Yeah, and what about the Weedhacker? If people want.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about Weedhacker now. So. Yeah, well, how about that, Ray, the Weedhacker? Where can people go to see about Weedhacker?
It's weedhackermovie.com.
Yeah, and we'll put that up too. So you said that the car for Weedhacker is a 76. Now, does the movie take place in the 70s, or does it take place in modern day?
No, it takes place in the modern day, but our hero has a certain kind of retro, cool vibe, and so he wanted a station wagon from 76.
I like it. Is Allen in the movie too?
He actually is. He actually plays law enforcement in this, and he gets to actually do his first stunt scene.
Oh, really?
Really well the other night.
Oh,
my character is Sheriff Dancing Shoes. I have a pivotal role, and I throw my first punch, and I knock a guy out. So it's come a long way from getting killed, you know, to being a mobster in storage locker.
That's right. To
change of pace, you know. And I have to say that this fine gentleman on my left, and I use that term loosely, he, in a way, rescued me off of the pile of whatever happened to and where are they now, and may have resuscitated a career that I never had and probably won't have. So you never know, Neil.
So you're thinking eggshells too.
Eggshells. Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. The direct sequel to the original.
Yeah.
So during that time, though, so you finished Texas Chainsaw. It goes on to be iconic and stuff. Through all those years, you didn't get the itch, like, I'd like to act again? Was it just something you didn't want to do?
No, I mean, like I said, I wasn't an actor, and then, you know, I did social work for about 10 years, and then I started my own entertainment company where we did, you know, singing telegrams and clowns, and we did casino parties. I even got an elephant for Willie Nelson many years ago. So I had a great time, you know, doing that, and then did some other things, and then all of a sudden, you know, Chainsaw started happening, and now almost every month I'm going somewhere, and I'll be, I think, a Frightmare.
Yeah, and that's a huge convention. I've been there. We've been there several times. Annabelle and I, Texas Frightmare.
Yeah, I can't wait to go there and meet all the folks. And then there's some people I haven't seen in 50 years since the movie, you know, so, and they will be there. So I just got to stay vertical for a few more years. Right now.
They have a great lineup because it is actually some people that I haven't seen at conventions. I know Kim's done a few, but he hasn't done a lot, and he's going to be there.
He's going to be there, and I think Ron Bozeman, who produced it, I think is going to make a cameo, and Daniel Pearl and Ted Nick. I mean, just some people that you don't see as opposed to the usual suspects.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Mr. John Dugan? Annabelle and I are good friends with John, and when I mentioned you're going to come on, John said you were a hoot, so he said we'll have a good time with you.
Yeah, actually, we're like an updated Cheech and Chong show when we sit together. You know, you don't know what state he's going to be in. But actually, I talked to him today, and he just recently had knee surgery, and he's doing well. He said he's walking a lot better, so I think we're going to have a great time. In fact, sadly, he was supposed to be in the movie with me. He was supposed to be my deputy, and the doc, he wasn't allowed to fly because of the rehab. So, I mean, we're getting up there. I'm glad that I'm still not drooling or in diapers at this point. So it's all good. It's all good.
I hate to bring this up because you mentioned you still have nice hair, but you had the big hair in the movie in Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Are you ever jealous of John's hair? Because he does have a pretty nice head of hair on him.
Yeah. I am all the time. But you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm glad I'm still, I'm still have some, so I'm not complaining.
Jonathan Edward Smith on Facebook. How many costumes were made for you and the other actors in the group of victims? Multiple, or did you 5 have to wear the same ones the whole time?
I had to wear the same ones the whole time. Which was, jeans and my shirt and my glasses. That was it.
So, but they didn't smell as bad as Gunner's.
No, Gunner went. No, I mean, it got. He's running through the woods. He's a big guy. There's a lot of sweat going on. You didn't want to be close to him. You just didn't want to be close.
Jonathan wants to know: do you still have the shirt?
No, as I mentioned, Ron Bozeman borrowed that shirt for a long shot, and it was my favorite shirt. And I don't know what happened to me. I must have amnesia. I never asked him for that shirt back. It would be like the shoes in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
The iconic. A fan actually had a shirt made for me that's similar, but it's not the same. But it can pass, and I might wear it at Frightmare.
The Frightmare, I think that's pretty cool. Bill DeFrance says you owned a novelty shop, and you had fake puke and squirting flowers and whatnot. What did you do with the inventory? I don't know if he wants a squirting flower or what, but he wants to know what you did with the inventory.
He said I had a novelty shop?
Yeah.
No, I didn't have a novelty shop.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Tell him to get off the medication.
Forget Bill DeFrance. Dave Winfrey, you talked about meeting Toby on eggshells. Since you say you're not an actor, how did you get the role in Eggshells?
The reason I got an eggshell is because David and Amy, who essentially the movie was about, were doing volunteer work with me. And so Toby said, Alan, can we shoot a scene at your house? And based on that, they just kept adding scenes for me to be in. And actually, my wife at the time was helping Amy with her wedding dress. And my son was like 8 months old. He's 54 now. And he still hasn't seen Chainsaw. He still hates me for taking him to see the coming attractions.
Oh, I thought he wasn't old enough yet to watch, but he will be soon.
Yeah.
John Howard wants to know: do you think the guy washing windows, who you mentioned earlier, is actually in on what the family's doing and could have actually been part of the Chainsaw family?
No. I think he was actually a friend of Marilyn's and somehow wangled his way into the movie. And he's got that right look. I mean, he's a weird looking cat.
Yeah, he's just sitting there staring into the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, everything works. You got to say it. I mean, Jim Sedow is perfect. I mean, everybody is just great in the movie.
Yeah. Now, when they did part 2, now not to spoil Texas Chainsaw Massacre, people haven't seen it, but Jerry dies in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, hey, you're speaking too quickly. There's no proof.
That's very true. You're hit in the head, you could still be fine.
Right. Yeah, and there's a movement now, Neil, that Chainsaw Jerry lives.
I like this. They brought back Sally in one of the reboots. Why can't we bring back Jerry?
They brought back JR. Why can't they bring me back?
Exactly.
So I'm not giving up on it.
All right, yeah. So I think we're going to get behind this. We're going to help you out. If Nasty Neil says it, no one really cares, but we'll still get behind it and try to get in the words. But were you ever approached to be in the sequel or any of the sequels?
No. I mean, I'm in the 3D movie because
with the family at the beginning, yeah.
Movie because they used a Polaroid, and the funny thing is, I got more money for not being in the movie than I got for being in the movie. So go figure that out.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's a ringing endorsement, but if you can get paid not to be in something, I think that's good.
Not
Yeah. people pay not to hang out with me, so I understand.
Okay.
But did you watch any of the sequels, and do you have any thoughts on those?
I watched the one with Jessica Biel. You know, I like that. I did like the 3D movie because of just the effects, and Alexandra Daddario is just gorgeous. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the Netflix movies in many ways. You know, and actually I got to meet the Mark Burnham, the Leatherface, wonderful guy, and I got to meet David Blue Garcia, who directed the Netflix movie, also a terrific guy. So, and some of the others I just didn't really care for that much, but it's all good. You know, when people compare that to the original, we still come out number one.
Yeah, very few people are going to say it. And no matter if they reboot or make sequels, the original's still there. People can watch it. It's not like it disappears or something.
Yeah.
Annabelle says, do you have any particular storyline in mind for Survivor Jerry?
I do, but it's too early. I cannot because it's confidential yet.
All
so
right.
I can't disclose that. But there's some ideas. There's some ideas.
Well, if you keep waiting, he's going to have to go to the nursing home.
That's right.
So.
That's true. That's true.
Ray, would you be interested in being involved in the Survivor Jerry movie?
I really would. Yeah, anything to help Allen out. He's got his whole team of us that are there, and we are standing by.
So the Weedhacker movie, you said you have 1 day left to film. So when did you actually start shooting it?
March 5th. And we're real lucky in Texas. It's been very cool here, and we've only had 2 rain days, so we feel very, very fortunate.
And I saw on the website when I watched, it's a short trailer. Poker Face is the killer. Who plays Poker Face, and who designed the mask for Poker Face?
I designed the mask, and it's a friend of ours, Sean Raina, who is 6'5", 290 pounds, and when he first showed up the first time to film the trailer, our director, Jody Stelzick, had made a real weed hacker with a metal blade, and it's gas powered. And Sean shows up real big with the mask. I mean, we were scared, and we knew it was him in that. He was absolutely terrifying, and does a great job in the movie from everything we've seen.
This movie is going to be one of those, after you stop laughing, you'll start screaming. That's just how it's going to be.
I do think horror comedies work best when the horror still works in the movie, so it can be funny, but then the horror stuff is still, you can have cool gore and everything.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we have Jason Zentner. Yeah, it's easy to read that. Done a lot of our practical effects, so we've gone very practical on a lot of stuff, and it really looks great.
Awesome. So, what are your plans for it once it's completely finished? Do you want to do festivals, or what are your ideas?
Yeah, we're going to do a festival run, and at some point we'll release it to our agent and see who's interested in buying it. I have no doubt we'll sell it. And then comes the question is, with most things now, does it go right to streaming? Is there a small chance you can get a theatrical run? And we'll be real happy. But Allen will be out there promoting it and probably signing his life away on various lithographs and posters and things we have in it. But it's going to be, we're looking for another fun year after the 50th anniversary of Chainsaw.
Yeah. Well, you kind of joke about that, but it's like a built-in some publicity, your Allen's already out there, you sign autographs. Hey, check out my movie that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
In fact, this Saturday I'm going to be at at the Mean-Eyed Cat Bar, which was a location where they shot Chainsaw 2, and Dennis Hopper goes into that place to get some chainsaws. It's a bar, and it's a real neat facility. And I'll be out there Saturday night signing autographs, and that's where we're having our cast party. So the rap party. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the folks that made it. It was very professionally done. I was real pleased, and I was on set on Saturday out on the ranch outside of Bastrop County. That was just simply gorgeous. So the settings for some of the things that Ray has done, and he's been a magician putting this whole thing together. He's a very unassuming guy. Not so much me, but he really is, and he's just an absolute doll to work with.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, you're a good spokesman for Weedhacker Massacre. I'm looking forward to it, and festivals are fun, and plus, some conventions have their own film festivals, so that could work. And you mentioned maybe a small chance of theatrical. I do think, over the last couple years here, independent horror films are lower budget movies that actually do get shown in theaters because people actually will go out and see them.
Sure. Well, we hope so.
And also, Neil, I was going to say that I also did the voiceover for the movie Cannibal Comedian that has won a bunch of awards, and I think it's about to come out. So and Sean Hates who wrote it, and he's got some other things. Anyway, I had a lot of fun, and he's come down here to meet Ray, and he's in one of the scenes along with Britton Buchanan, who wrote the ballad of
Weedhacker Jerry.
Weedhacker
Willie.
And
is that the theme?
Yeah, it's one of the
I love it.
It's so funny, clever, and Britton, of course, was the runner-up on The Voice in 2018. Man, he knows his way around a guitar. Beautiful singing voice.
Unbelievable.
But he wrote this incredibly witty theme song for us, and we're so ecstatic over it.
I'm really excited about that. I would like to hear that. I don't know if I could hear it off the show. If you would send it to me, the song.
Yeah,
if not,
I'll see off the show, sure.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely brilliant. And Britton was like 18 when he won. He was runner-up on The Voice. Yeah. And he's just a terrific guy. And Sean, everybody that I've met, it's just been a joy. Just a joyous ride right now for me.
I always like that in horror movies when they in My Bloody Valentine, when they play the song at the end, and it's kind of like almost like a weird kind of folk song to the movie. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
cool.
And have you seen the board game, Alan? Texas Chain Saw Massacre?
No, I haven't. And my son just brought me these figures. The little figures, and to add insult, mine is actual size. So I'm not happy. And then, and here I got on this past Sunday, I got a call from a fella in Dallas. He was at a Dallas pinball convention, and he called me and said, "Alan, they have a Texas Chain Saw Massacre pinball machine," and he sends me pictures, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm on it. I'm in it." I said, I have to get it. It was pretty steep price.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't have a way to get up there. He said, I have space. I can bring it to you. So we worked the deal, and I have it. It's in my warehouse. Everybody that has played it or seen it, they love it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, my brother and I are big pinball fans. We actually have been looking for it. We found they have the Jaws one that just came out too, and it's so we played it, but we can't find the Texas Chain Saw Massacre one. I think we're gonna have to go over to your house and
You're
play.
welcome. You're welcome.
All right, we'll get Annabelle here. We'll head out. But no, it looks great. And isn't that crazy that they actually made a pinball machine 50 years later? Like,
yeah,
pinball's come back. Like they're making these pinball machines and off like
this is state of the art, and then they got clips from the movie. So if you get X number of points, you see different things. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's work. The guy that brought it down deals in pinball. He said, "Alan, this thing is the best he's ever seen. It's a work of art."
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you bought it. That's very exciting. So, so Annabelle and I played the board game last weekend for the first time, and I played Jerry. And in the board, and when we played, you survived. It could be foreshadowing of this movie.
Neil, on the pinball machine, there's where I escaped. So that's what I'm saying. There's still life. There's still life for me.
Yeah, because even Terry was still moving in the cooler. So you know.
But I hope at some point maybe they do, kind of a different thing where Leatherface maybe rescues me and it becomes a buddy movie.
I love this. A buddy comedy. You and you guys sit around playing. You guys can play pinball together.
We're in a van down by the river, and we're kind of living off of roadkill, and then he's getting older and he's needing some dental work, some hearing aids. We're having problems getting Social Security. So that's what I'm saying. There's a whole other side.
I love this. The Weedhacker Massacre. Do you have any merch right now, or do you have any merch planned, like T-shirts and?
Sure, we're really going to put out a lot of products because we have Mr. Entrepreneur here.
Mm-hmm.
But we already have a limited edition lithograph, and we think it's a really very special image for the movie. You can see it online. We have coffee cups, bumper stickers, usual T-shirts, but we're going to come up with some specialty things that we're in development right now, like little miniature weed hackers. Your kids will love
them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they make, I don't know how many kids buy all these toys that come out. I think it's for adult children, but what the hell? People love it. Yeah. So you've coming up in Texas and you're traveling all around with the van. Is the van going to be at Frightmare?
They don't have space for it. Yeah. I had it I think 2 years ago. We drove it up there. No, we trailered it. I did an event in Houston about 8-9 months ago, and we drove the van down there at a blazing 55 miles an hour, and the van did fine. But then after the event, on our way back, it started losing power. We had to pull into a gas station, and it turned out it was a solenoid problem. And Chris, my mechanic, he can fix everything, but we had to get a jump, and we asked a real nice Hispanic fella if he could give us a jump. And as he's doing that, I just mentioned, "You see that van?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you ever see the Texas Chain Saw Massacre?" He said, "Yes, I did." And I said, "Well, that was the van from the movie." And then in Spanish, he just said, "Please don't kill me." Please don't kill me. And he wouldn't even let me tip him. He couldn't get out of there quick enough.
Well, hey, that's a good thing to do wherever you go. You could save a few bucks on the tip.
Yeah, I guess you got a good point there.
Adrian wants to know, what were your thoughts on the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre? The one that came out just a couple of years ago.
I liked some of the kills, and I think it was a little difficult. I think people identifying with the characters. I think that's one of the things they didn't really like the characters that much. But I thought, they called in, I guess David Blue at the last minute. They had to rework it. I thought he did a good job. So, and a lot of people saw it, on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
It got a lot of views,
Mm-hmm. One time Annabelle and I were at a coffee shop, and we had just went to see the new Halloween, and we didn't like it too much, but the point was, there was a young girl who was waiting on us, and she loved it, and then she went and watched the original Halloween. And so I always thought about that afterwards. They have these new Texas Chainsaw Massacres come out. Maybe some of us don't like them or whatever, but some people who don't know any of the old movies, they go back and then watch the originals after these new ones come out.
Yeah, it's all good.
Annabelle wants to know, who's doing the effects work on the Weedhacker Massacre.
Jason Zentner is doing it for us. He's done some other low-budget horror films, and he's created a couple mold or cast heads, which we get to do excellent things with them. And today, right now, I think they're filming a contortionist.
Really?
She's a yoga instructor, and she's getting in a contortion death pose with a little bit of blood. So I'm missing it, but it was working here. But we can't wait to go back and see the footage on it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, and I appreciate coming here for that. But I'm really excited about this. This is it's cool that you guys are so excited about
it. Very
this.
funny and a lot of over the top blood scenes and horror. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah. So, Allen, you talked about you're in the house a little bit in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What was it like when you first just walk in there and you see all the stuff that's set up, all the bones and a chicken in a bird coop?
Oh, I mean, it was crazy. And I've mentioned this. I had them blindfold me for about 20 minutes sitting outside the house. So I would just see everything for the first time, see Leatherface, see the whole house. And I think that's the reaction you get, when you see my face. It's really just taking it all in. And literally scared the daylights out of me.
Ray, you mentioned that John was originally going to play the deputy, John Dugan. Right. Have you met John though? Do you know him at all?
Yeah, John came down for one of Allen's appearances at the Con Street Festival. We got to spend a little time together. We're just a great guy, and he felt so bad, with the knee surgery. It was just the post-op therapy. There's no way he should be sitting in a plane. And he really hated missing. He hated missing this, and we desperately, as much as we wanted on the film, we wanted to go party with him the next time. Yeah. We missed that, so we'll have him come on down.
Yeah, he's a great guy to hang out with.
Yeah,
he's amazing. Yeah. So, but hopefully, maybe you can work him in somehow. It's just a little cameo.
The sequel.
There you go. Or the Jerry.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I was just saying he could reprise Grandpa for the Survivor Jerry film.
There you go. There you go.
He's like 190-year-old grandpa.
The funny thing is, John was like 20 or 21. He was the youngest guy on the set at playing Grandpa. It's just one of those little facts.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird because when I watch it now after knowing John a little bit, you can see some of John in Grandpa, a couple little movements when he's getting excited and stuff. And I think it's pretty funny.
And when he's sucking the blood out of from Marilyn, he starts getting into it, you know.
Yeah, like almost very childlike and exciting and excited. I was like, I can really see John in that.
And it was real blood that he was sucking.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they actually cut her finger because it was just taking too long. So they just actually cut her finger.
Wow.
Yeah. So you weren't on the set anymore at that point.
No, because I was doing this camp for kids with with different problems. So they worked around my schedule. They brought me out for my scenes, but I never got to hang out there.
Yeah. How long did
the brownies and stuff that happened? I mean, a lot of people are still a good part of the time, I think, doing that.
So how long from when you finished filming the movie did Texas Chainsaw actually come out? Because things are usually slower back then as far as getting a movie edited.
Gosh, we shot it in July, and I guess it came out maybe a year later.
So it's not too long then.
Yeah, it came October. We shot it in '73, came out in '74.
What was Paul like? Because it's another guy I never got to meet.
That's the other thing. We all hated him.
I actually get that impression in some of the commentary.
But it turned out he was the sweetest guy. That's how good of an actor he was. But as he said, he was afraid if he took that character off, he couldn't get him back on. So we just couldn't wait for him to die.
It's really funny. I think watching the movie, you kind of get that, and I think that's really interesting to have, a handicapped guy in the movie and make him really annoying where you actually are kind of rooting against him.
It went against every stereotype, a handicapped person that you dislike.
Yeah. You almost feel bad. You feel wrong that I'm like, man, I don't really, I want bad things to happen to Franklin. But...
It's good catharsis. You know what I mean? It's a cathartic thing to dislike a guy, He's just a guy, he's handicapped.
Yeah.
He's still a guy.
And on a weird way, though, I think it's even better because it's not like it makes them, handicapped people are just people. They don't have, they're not all saints. They can also be an annoying guy.
And when I was at CreepyCon, a fella who dressed like Franklin brought me the same can that Franklin used to relieve himself. He brought me one of those cans, so it's in my van.
Have you washed it, or you just?
It's been washed, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure if he really. Well, you said he was in character the whole time, so maybe he did.
He did. He stayed in that chair. He asked other people to get him stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Now, Annabelle says I feel bad for Franklin. Poor dude. Yeah.
That's 50 years. Get over it.
She actually played Franklin when we played the board game, and I said I played you. I played Jerry. You survived, but Franklin ended up on the meat hook, so he did.
How was the game? Was it fun?
It's actually great. It's really fun. It's a board game, but it actually does build up it's like you get a little nervous because as the game goes on, Leatherface is chasing you, and and you got to try to find the keys so you can get back to the van and avoid hitchhiker and everybody. It's actually very fun. It's a really well thought out game.
I gotta get that game. I'm gonna get it.
It's another thing. I grew up playing board games, so I'm really happy that they've made a comeback because I don't play a lot of video games, but I love pinball and board games, and those are cool now.
Well, I was at the release of the video game, and I hear that's also terrific.
Yeah.
Whatnot, but I don't play video games, but I might have to get all of this stuff, just for memorabilia. Which my son will sell no sooner do I hit the ground.
Yeah, I see a lot of people love the video game, the one you play online, and you can either play, as a family member or one of the kids and stuff, and that is pretty. And you play with other people, so you can have like a chat and stuff.
It's amazing that this movie it's taken on a life of its own.
Do you have any own thoughts why not only people who grew up watching it, but it finds a new audience. So every generation finds the movie and likes it. Do you have any thoughts why?
I mean, parents who watch it. I've had kids as young as 6 and 7 and 8 that have watched the movie. My grandkids are like 18 and 20. They still haven't been allowed to watch the movie. So it's just amazing. It's just they're that generation that love that movie. They want their kids to appreciate it. And I'm meeting kids, everything, all kinds of folks from all over the world actually that know about this movie.
Yeah.
And even if they haven't seen it, they know about it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I don't think every genre of movie is like that. Like there's something about horror movies seem to really stick around, where some even like big movies of decades ago, besides like The Godfather or something, a lot of them just kind of get lost and they don't find new audiences.
You're right. I mean, horror fans are terrific, and chainsaw fans, as I've said, they're the bomb. You know what I mean? If they love you, they love you, and they stay with you. And I see that, on my Facebook. I mean, just people are just so nice, responding when I do a post or whatnot. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you yourself a horror movie fan?
No.
The interview is over now, but no.
I like good stories, emotional. I like to cry in a movie.
Yeah. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre does. It's an emotional movie. I think Marilyn Burns is her like arc from like Descendant to Madness is great. I honestly think she's the best scream queen in a movie.
Yeah,
she's the best final girl. I mean, she was a wreck after that movie was done. I mean, I don't think she was ever the same. It took its toll. She gave it her all. She really did. And people love her. Everybody that's met her, everybody loves her.
Yeah. Now, Toby says that, that he was trying to get that movie rated PG. That's why there's not really a lot of blood. There's like blood splatter everywhere, but no one's like actively bleeding. But watching it, I can't really wrap my head around him thinking this would ever get PG, because I mean, it's a very dark movie.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no sex, sadly.
Not on camera, anyway.
Yeah, not on camera. And then, the hook scene, people swear that the hook is going right through her. So I think that was it. But there's very little blood.
That's true. I mean, Jaws is rated PG, and it's pretty bloody when he's getting eaten at Quint.
It was like an X rating, and he did what he had to do. But it ended up with an R. So it worked.
Yeah. Do you know if anything was cut out to get an R or not an X rated?
I don't know. I'm sure they type, because I mean the movie's like only 88 minutes, so there were some scenes that they cut out, but I don't know if they would have been X-rated. There may have been more blood or more scary stuff with the chainsaw, but the chainsaw is really you only see it when it kills I think Franklin.
Yeah. Yeah, and he has it when he's like around one of the characters, but he's not like actively using it.
Yeah, you see him when he's getting ready to cut up Bill Vale, but then it cuts to the windmill, and it's just very well done, very well edited.
Yeah. So, Ray, Weedhacker Massacre. I know you had a GoFundMe, a crowdfunder at one point. Is that still active?
No, it's not. We might do another one later, but we've actually found a lot of independent private financing. So it's great to have.
Oh, that's awesome.
Friends of friends and things like that. So it's been really terrific.
Annabelle wants to know what are some of your favorite films, Alan? So you said not say horror movie. What are some of your favorite movies?
Well, one of the sound guys asked me when I was on set.
Joe, yeah.
For Weedhacker, he said, "Alan, are you having a good time?" And I said, "The last time I think I had this much fun was at the premiere of Schindler's List." But that actually is one of my favorite movies.
It is a great movie.
Shawshank Redemption.
Another great movie.
There's a movie that a friend just saw that I liked, Brooklyn, with Saoirse Ronan. A beautiful little movie. I like the movie that had, I think, one of what's his name, Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah.
The last
movie star.
Last movie star. It was a sweet movie. I like those kind of movies.
I've not seen that movie actually. I know I've got all the horror stuff, but I just like movies in general. But I've actually
You
don't
need to
think
see
I've
that
seen that
on the
movie.
last movie star because it's kind of
and I could relate
you
to
can
that.
relate. Yeah,
you know.
it's he's a big movie star is down to his last part of his life and basically gets asked to a movie con, and it turns out to not be a very good movie con. So,
but they love this. They love his character.
Yeah.
And he's just trashes them, and then you see the change as it develops to where he says, "I don't deserve this award." You know, it's a sweet movie. It's a very sweet movie.
Did you try to hide your accent at all when doing Texas Chainsaw?
What accent?
You're like, maybe not necessarily an Austin accent. It's kind of a little, maybe more
I to this day, I said, how does a kid from the Bronx, in the cult classic Texas, it's just how it is, what can I say,
Yeah. I don't think I ever thought about it until recently. I was like, this accent really stands out in the movie. But when I was watching it for years, I never even thought about it. But I guess that's like most people.
Yeah.
But Annabelle says, yeah, you love movies with powerful stories. So,
yeah.
So we're going to include the links to everywhere, see where you're traveling with the van. I love that idea. I think that's awesome. And I definitely would like to play the pinball game with you. I think that would be great.
You make it down here and you got it, buddy.
All right.
Bring John with you.
Yeah, that would actually be amazing. Me, Annabelle, John come down, play pinball. Yeah, that would be sweet.
Nightmare. It might be sold out by now, but that's in Dallas, and then you can meander down here, and you could go to see the house that's in Kingsland. The house, the gas station is in Bastrop, so you could do the whole Texas tour.
I love this idea. Well, we'll have to work on this. And the Weedhacker Massacre, I'm really excited about this, Ray.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah. So keep us informed what's going on. We'd love to have you back, when the movie's, either going to hit festivals or whatever, you have some news about it.
Thanks a lot, Neil. This has actually been just a treat. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this interview. I think you get us, you know what I mean? And it just flowed, and it's been a real privilege to talk with you.
And thanks for being online, Annabelle. Wish we had been able to see you. But
she really wanted to be here, but she's been sick for the last few days. But I'm glad she at least made it here in the chat and sent in some stuff.
Thank you.
And let me know when I can see this, with the edit.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you the link. It'll be up. Well, it's live right now, but it'll be up tomorrow for everyone to check out everywhere.
Great.
And I'll tag you everywhere. I'll be really annoying and keep tagging you.
Not at all.
I love it.
Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the
Thank you as well. Take care, Alan, Ray. It's good to meet you both. And we'll talk soon. I'm going to go to break for everyone else, and I'm going to come back with the cast and the crew of Just One Night in a few minutes. So,
Great.
All right. I'm going to play some music or something. So I'm going to kick you guys out, just not to be rude, but
Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. All right. So I'm going to play something or other, and we'll be right back here at the station of decapitation without your head. And we're going to talk with the fine folks of Just One Night. Big thanks to Allen Danziger and Ray Spivey. I'm a huge fan of Texas Chain Saw Massacre. He was a great guy. I could see why John likes him. He's got a great sense of humor. And my first time talking with Ray at all, I actually didn't even know he's going to be here. And it was a great surprise. And I'm really looking forward to the movie, the Weedhacker Massacre. I was into the idea anyway, but talking to the both of them, I was like, this sounds like a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to play the trailer right now for Sting. It's coming out next month. And I just found out today, it looks like we're actually going to have the director of Sting and the young lead who plays Charlotte on an upcoming Without Your Head. That's very exciting. And so Sting is coming out next month. But my brother, Troy, the terrible one, and I, we went to Scream Unseen a few days ago, which is a really cool event AMC does. And it's you get an advanced screening to a horror film. You don't know what it's going to be, but it's coming out in the near future. And it was almost sold out the day before we got tickets. We had a hard time finding two seats together that weren't in the front row. And I think it was completely sold out by that day, which is very cool. It makes me happy that horror movies are getting such a release and people are really coming out to see them. So I actually going in, we both predicted what it would be. Troy wanted to be this Nicolas Cage horror movie that's coming out. I wanted it to be Sting. I was like, I want it to be this giant spider movie. And people on Facebook were like, it can't be either of those because it says it's an hour and 45-minute runtime, rated R, and none of these other movies fit into it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, who knows? Let's just wait and see. Maybe there's lying to you about the runtime. So we went in there, and they kept showing all these trailers. They showed Cuckoo. They showed the Nick Cage one. And every time I was like, in my head, they're not going to show the trailer for the movie that's going to play. So far, so good. We haven't seen the trailer for Sting. So I'm thinking maybe we're going to see the trailer. We're not going to see the Sting trailer because they're going to show Sting. And then the movie starts, and I was like, I think this is Sting. And it was. So we saw the long story short, very, very long story, and not short story long, I guess, is that we saw Sting, an advanced screening, Scream Unseen, super fun movie, great effects. I think it's all practical, maybe some enhanced stuff, but primarily practical effects. Not just a big spider, it grows, it all takes place in one apartment building. A lot of fun characters. It's just a really fun horror movie. So when it comes out next month, I highly recommend it. And it looks like I'm not sure when yet, but before the end of April, we will be having the director and the lead actress who plays Charlotte. And I believe everyone involved is in Australia. So I don't know if they'll be on live or we're going to record it. We'll figure all that out, but it's very exciting. So I'm going to play you the trailer for that. And go and see Sting when it comes out. And I'm going to get the fine folks here to talk about Just One Night when we come back. And we're also going to be talking about Buried Alive Film Festival. So we'll be right back, folks.
You called about the noises in your walls, right?
Oh, no, not me.
You sure about that?
Hey there, little guy.
Charlotte! I need you to watch Liam.
Why?
Because he's 6 months old and he eats paper.
Every time I try and connect, she takes 2 steps back.
Night, Ethan. You hungry?
Cool. We're gonna call you Sting.
Hi, Eric.
Could a spider grow twice as big in a couple of hours?
No, that is a physiological impossibility. Sweet Jesus, what the hell happened to it?
Rats.
I don't think a rat's gonna do that.
Spiders only know 2 things. Eat and kill.
What kind of spider are we talking about here? A big one.
A spider bite will paralyze its prey because it likes to feed on living flesh.
It's all my fault.
We have to deal with this together.
Sting.
That's your spider!
Are you real?
Of course I'm real.
If those gates are left open, it may be the end of humanity.
I've done them too. Terrible things.
I remember saying you can't be as frightened as I am now and still be alive.
He seeks constantly one thing, and that is to shock the audience.
Horrendously awful things are happening.
The sweetness of life, my darling, is terribly perishable.
Hey, this is Nasty Neil here. I'm waiting for the fine folks. I told them originally 8:30, so they might be on here in about 10 minutes. So I do want to go over something that's happening next weekend, and that is the Overlook Film Festival in New Orleans, which we were invited to, but it was so close to Boston Underground Film Festival. Probably overall it's probably good we didn't, just because Annabelle's sick right now and stuff, so it might not have. Anyway, long story short, Overlook Film Festival's coming up April 4th through the 7th in New Orleans, and they sent here's the official lineup, really loaded with stuff. Some stuff that we've seen, like Blackout. Larry Fessenden's Blackout's going to be playing there. That's awesome. He's actually going to be there too. They're showing it's really cool because they're showing a lot of new independent horror stuff, and they're also showing some classic stuff, like they have Phantom of the Paradise is playing. Let's see here. They just added festival premiere of Me, a mysterious new musical from two-time Academy Award nominee Dawn Herzenfeld. It's Such a Beautiful Day rejected the World of Tomorrow series. Doesn't say a lot about that, but that'll be playing. And a movie, Arcadia, with that's the Nicolas Cage movie that's going to be playing. Nicolas Cage stars as a father desperately trying to take care of his two sons in equally heartfelt and innovatively terrifying post-apocalyptic vision from director and lauded visual effects artist Ben Brewer. So anyway, it looks like we'll go over that a little bit later, but it does look like we may have we have Rockin' Siren here.
Hi.
One night. Hello.
Hello.
It is good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
I love your face. I'm early.
Okay.
Super early.
I saw
that. I was business when this started.
Yeah, I just picked him up on the side of the
road. All right, no problem. Yeah, I'm running everything here by myself, so it's a little hectic, but it'll be all fine.
Yeah. Sorry, your co-host is sick. I hope she improves.
Yeah, Annabelle, she's here in the chat, so she's trying to. She might send in some stuff once in a while, but she really wanted to be here too, so we wish her all the best.
Awesome. I am going to. They are on their way. They're very diligent about being on time. So they're.
No, that's great. Yeah, no, it was just it's just the way it worked out. I wasn't sure exactly.
Yeah.
And when it's just me here, I was just going over Overlook Film Festival's coming up next week in New Orleans, so that'll be cool. We won't be there, but it's got a pretty great lineup.
Yeah, and any reason to go to New Orleans too. It's been.
I've never been.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
So cool. Do you like daiquiris?
I don't drink anymore, so
you're gonna hate the place. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I don't drink either, Neil.
Okay. I'll get some chicory coffee.
Yeah. Actually, this is my tea for today.
Oh, I've got. I still am a double-fisted drinker, but I make one cup of coffee for the show and a cup of tea. So I start with the coffee, and then the rest of the show I'll drink tea.
Well, Neil and Annabelle over there in the chat, we are like your biggest fans. Just letting you know.
Well, that's amazing. We're big fans of you as well. It's great to meet you in person last year in Atlanta.
Yeah, because
I love your short film that we played during Severed Limbs.
And the finger. You played the finger.
Yeah, we played a couple of them. Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
So, and tonight we get to talk about how in our filmmaking careers we are now moving out of the F part of the dictionary.
Yeah, now we're into J.
Ahead.
I love the hair. The hair looks great.
Thank you. I love it too. It's very golf. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's coming out. It's coming off really well here on the camera, and you got some cool lighting behind you. It's reflecting on it.
Yeah,
What, we got a Bride of Frankenstein behind there.
Oh yeah, hey, check this out. Did you get your collection of? I mean, I know you don't drink, but hey, this is cool to collect.
Oh, I would still buy it and just keep it on the camera. I did not know it even existed. I would definitely buy this. Or if anyone watching would like to buy it for me, I will accept it. But
we just bought it for the little animated AR.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Dude, they are cool.
Oh my God, old Frankenstein's my favorite, so that's
Hopefully next season they'll come out with like Blueberry or something.
But hi, there she is. Hi.
Yeah.
Great.
I've seen you guys been traveling around and like.
Yeah, we were at Buff last week. We almost went to New Orleans next week, but it was very everything at once. It's a little too much. Alan just invited us to Texas to go play a pinball, Texas Chain Saw Massacre pinball.
I am just letting you know I am the pinball wizard.
No, I'm a pinball fan, so I'm trying not to block anyone's heads here with the logo.
Look
I'm
who it
just
is.
moving everyone around here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
That might block his head. I don't know.
I'm in the
They
shot
are
too.
absolutely gorgeous. Look at them.
Can you turn that up a little?
I can.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see everyone here.
I love seeing them so much every time. So I can duck. Don't worry, I can do this.
I'm just trying to figure out who gets blocked the least if I move.
What if you're on the top and everyone else is on the bottom?
That won't let me do it. I tried, but
that's
that was
good.
not too bad. Yeah,
That's
all
not
right.
good.
All
There you
right.
go. That works.
Yeah.
Hello, Nasty Neil.
Well, hello. Why does everyone introduce themselves? Because we have different names here. We'll start on the left here. Introduce yourself and let everyone know how you're involved in Just One Night.
Am I on the left?
Yeah. On my left, actually, which may be on the right here for everyone else. I'm not sure, but
All right. Hi, I'm Leticia Buchanan, or Letty, and I am the executive producer of Just One Night.
Excellent.
And I'm Eddie Lebron. I'm the cinematographer of Just One Night.
Excellent.
Do you want to go next?
Yeah. Save the best for last for sure. I'm Jason Thompson. I'm the production designer for Just One Night.
And I am Shannon Ford Thompson, the writer and director of Just One Night, and his better half. Just kidding. I'm the
Louder half.
Louder half. Very loud. Awesome.
Very exciting. And for people not aware yet, whoever wants to take this, give us an idea of what Just One Night is about.
I can take that. Just One Night is a 1980s gothic horror. As you can tell, we are all very goth kind of people. And I think that one was for you.
Hi, Clyde.
But it's a 1980s gothic horror, and pretty much it takes along. I'm a goth gal. I've been a goth gal since I was like in my late teens, and I've just always have been. I always wear black. It's just my style. It's my aesthetic. And I wanted to make a film that just encompassed everything that I love about the 80s and the 90s and goth industrial. And then it's inspired from an actual event that happened to us that was very, very horrifying.
It was no big deal.
It was a huge deal. We almost died.
Oh no, it was Texas Chainsaw like. Absolutely.
It was very
100%.
Texas Chainsaw vibe.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. But it's about yes. It's about a girl named Raven who inherits property, and I don't want to say too much, but there's a lot of nostalgia and goth, and really brings us back to the 80s, you know. And I want to let my producers and cinematographer talk about it too, because when we met, it was sure by sure chance, and they were also goths. So it was just awesome. I'll let you talk.
We were the weirdos in the room.
We were
all the weirdos.
And it was at a film festival over at Kevin Smith's cinema.
Oh, yeah, we were at Smodcast.
Yeah, we were at the after party, and we just kind of like contact across the room, and she honed in like a heat-seeking missile.
I said, those are our people.
Yes.
It was very cliche. Our eyes met from across the crowded room in a room full of normies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
A beacon of light.
We ran slowly to each other, and how do I say this? I'm trying to say that I went back up to New York probably about 3 more times, and I just actually really adored those two very much.
I mean, initially on the first meeting that evening, yeah, they were great to talk to. I mean, we're all like film nerds.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, that's like a huge bonding thing right there.
Yeah. And we love everything together. Like they made this, I'll let them talk, but they made this amazing, beautiful, well-lit film.
Thank you.
That very 80s vibe. And, you know, I had already written Just One Night, and I was like, oh my God, I need to talk with these people. And I really felt that they could take this story further than I could with their help. And so far, it's been amazing. I keep talking good about them. I'm gonna let them talk because I talk good. Sorry. A little nervous.
It's funny. Well, when Shannon first came to me about Just One Night, she's like, oh, I have this great horror film. I'm like, no, I don't do horror.
That's exactly
at all. But in the span of a few months, my perspective on horror has changed. Obviously, for me to delve into horror, I have to really, you know, believe in the story. And it was very terrifying when she told me the actual story. But yeah. The fact that Shannon wants to bring back the 80s aesthetic in a film along with the goth culture, I was all in. You know, we're very immersed into the goth culture of New York, and to see it represented and shine on the screen is going to be thrilling.
Yeah. It fit them. When I saw them, I saw their film, and I found out that Letty was a producer. I hired her first. And let me tell you, if I could give any filmmaker advice, I would say hire Letty, but you can't have her right now.
She's busy.
You can't have her right now. Well, I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
But hire a producer and surround yourself with people that have that knowledge and are able to take on those tasks, because being a director, you already got a ton of things to do, and it's time to just start. Don't wear all those hats, you know? And when I finally took off that hat, this story has just really just gone far.
When you said about meeting them at a festival and seeing their film, and people always talk about like a big part of festivals is you can like meet people to collaborate with, and maybe some people don't really know what that means, but not only right away like, oh, these are fellow kind of weirdos, but then you see their film and you brought up right away it was well lit, so right away it's like, oh, like not only do you like them, but like their stuff is quality, so like
right away you know
work with.
Yeah,
absolutely helps.
And it was weird because Letty, I think we suck each other out. Is that the right word?
Sought.
Excuse me.
I heard something different.
I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I did say she's great.
A different show. Yeah.
For sure.
They're both magnificent people. Eddie, I want to make sure that I mentioned Eddie is absolutely quality and amazing cinematographer. He blows me away, even with his cell phone videos. Like he blows me away.
I want to ask about the cinematography because Annabelle brings up amazing playlist, which is on the website, and I was listening to myself. So something like that, even though that's visual, I mean audio. If you know just like the music helps set like the vibe and stuff, how does that help you like think about how you're going to shoot the movie? Is that helpful to like you listen to the music? Does that give you an idea of how you're gonna shoot the film?
Oh,
well, I'll let you talk.
You want to take this or should?
Yeah, man, that was for you.
cinematography wise, it's like a twofold thing. Number one, auditorially, it's very fascinating how sound resonates with the brain, because imagery is associated with sound. Like, for example, Sisters of Mercy, you can listen to their sound and it creates one vibration in your mind, and then you see the imagery of what they did in the 80s, like even the music video for Lucretia, My Reflection, gives a whole different aesthetic. So I don't know, it's like with the sound comes this whole cavalcade, this whole tapestry of imagery that's already associated with that sound. And I feel like when Shannon mentioned she wanted to do this gothic, like horror, industrial, just really like gritty basement 80s movie, I was like, I don't see that a lot. I don't see that often at all. Especially nowadays, everything 80s is the glossiness of today capturing the 80s of yesterday.
I usually bring that up on the shows. People just think like Rubik's Cube and people like very bright colors and big hair and stuff. But when I think of 80 movies, I think of like Vice Squad or something. So.
Right.
Yeah, and what's crazy to me is horror is goth, people.
Mm-hmm.
When I think goth, I think Vampira, I think Vampira, I think Elvira, I think Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I can't even. What's wrong with you today?
I think about puking in the bushes at the Limelight in the 90s.
Oh my goodness, the Limelight.
See, which I think raises a good point, since we're trying to represent the subculture because no one else is doing it, and since we've lived it and have lived it for such a very long time, we can be authentic about it. Like, I mean, as a production designer, my job's going to be super easy because all I got to do is remember what I was doing back then.
That's a lot like how I wrote it. I think Annabelle was talking to me in the past about Bauhaus, and I am actually, when I was writing it, I was thinking of Peter Murphy, Holy Clown, Cut You Up. Those were the
first songs.
Yeah, those were all the first songs I started listening that was just inspiring this movement and getting into this space. Music has always been a big part of what makes films for me, thinking about like James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that film, amazing director, amazing cinematography. It was a lot of fun. But that music really played hard into that film. And that is what brings people back into nostalgia. So we're working on that too.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I think nostalgia has a place, but sometimes we see stuff, it's like forced nostalgia. And it's not really exactly like how, nothing against Stranger Things, but like, they have like these giant Ghostbusters suits that no one could have bought like back when you were a kid. And I remember
you can buy them as adults.
Yeah. They'd go see Day of the Dead, which barely played anywhere, and it's like this sold out every night. And I was like, that didn't happen back then. It was actually a really hard movie to go see, and actually didn't even do very well. But it's just it's fine, but it's I think it's more for people who weren't alive then to think, oh wow, the 80s was really cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was an 80s license made by people who were born in like 90s.
Right. But let me tell you, one of the things I really love about 80s films was all the practical effects and the magic that went behind it. That was, to me, it was freaking fun. Just how did they do that? That's freaking amazing. And it looks real, and it's just silicone and spaghetti sauce, or back then it was like all kinds of crazy things they were doing. And so that is another vision I have, which I shared some photos with you from Morton, who worked on Mandy. And you're the only one that has had the chance to share this, by the way.
Oh, well, we appreciate that.
I got approval from my producer and my cinematographer. And this is all we're allowed to share with you at this moment.
All right. So which one do you want me to show right now?
If you want to show, you can show any one you want, and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. But now, real quick though, before I forget about the 80s stuff, I have always thought like even like bad practical effects have a charm to them, as like bad like CG is just like looks bad, So
yeah. 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 Okay. So this was one that Shane Morton did, and this is a very telling part of the story. So I don't want to say too much about it. But very talented artist, and we're going to be doing this effect with a lot of practical magic effects.
Oh, for sure.
FX magic.
Yeah, like practical effects are the best way to do it. At the end of the day, it's in. I mean, for us, entry level.
Yeah.
It's like CGI is super expensive for us because we want to be able to. I mean, you've won awards for VFX, but what you want to do, you have to hand off to someone who knows a little bit more, is a little bit better. Kind of like we were talking earlier about finding people that can do what you do, but better, or at least share that vision. It's like what I like to say is, if I'm the smartest man in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So you got to surround yourself with greatness and talent. It's really the only way to fly.
And you can tell my excitement. You can tell from my excitement because I keep talking about those wonderful people up there.
So isn't the chat room, by the way. They're fans
they get me. We're friends, but we're business too. Letty and Eddie have no problem telling me to take realistic expectations, which is really, really, because as a director, I always shoot for the stars and I get the moon, right? So, and I love this about them and how we just communicate well all the time. So, but you know what, a cool one you can share too is the one of the melting face. That's another practical effects. I saw a lot of comments come up about the practical effects. Well, that's another one of the same one, but the other one is that one.
So much.
It's very
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. But that I wish I could tell you about that segment, but I can't.
Yeah, but look, any horror fan looking at that, you have to be like, that's very exciting. Yeah.
She's like, you better, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Hopefully that entices you to want to see some more.
Yeah.
It's
cool, right?
Yeah,
he
awesome.
is super, super talented. And like I said, he did
great guy too.
Yeah, Mandy and so forth.
And Mandy's one of my favorite modern might be my favorite Nicolas Cage movie. And I like a lot.
Absolutely, without hesitation.
It's one of my favorites.
Hesitation.
Nicolas Cage is goth, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's
self-identifying.
Self-identifying.
Yeah. And I know he's made great movies before, but I love his recent, just really making some crazy ass stuff, and it's so fun. And he seems to be having a good time making them. It's not like, oh, I'm forced to do this or whatever. But I've heard an interview, he said it's like the most fun he's ever had making movies, is making these weird independent horror movies.
Yes,
well, maybe Nicolas Cage should give us a little call.
Exactly.
Come on, Nicky Cage.
I know you're watching. He's a big fan. Yeah, and it's cool because he pops up on the Oscars, and then he makes these crazy horror movies.
I would love to collaborate and direct Nicolas Cage. That would be. I probably would die after that.
I'd freak out a little.
But I know I could deliver. I know I do a really good job sitting there and getting it done. And then after that, I would probably just go, oh, wow.
I'd just fanboy and have like a meltdown. For sure.
I get into a zone when I'm directing and I'm there and I'm doing, we're there. But right after that, it's all on. All girl moments right there.
Letty, I have a question for you that may seem silly or whatever, but could you explain to people what a producer does? Because I don't think everyone really grasps the idea. And also, we live in a time where people can, and nothing against this, they can get producer credits if they donate to different things. And I do. I have personal. I produce the feature films playing festivals, and sometimes I've been to festivals who treated me like I was just some guy who donated like $50, and that's not what I did for the movie. And it was very disrespectful at a couple of things. I won't name them on here. But so, can you explain what a producer does, or what you do?
Going back to what you said, I totally do get that. There are situations where you can get a producer credit just because you've donated funds or donated money and to the film. that is not the type of producer I am, because I'm very broke. And I can't donate money to anyone. So, you know, you can go into the GoFundMe and help us out with the film. I basically, to wrap things up in a nutshell, like I do pretty much everything for the director, from budgeting. Budgeting is a huge thing. Keeping things. My biggest thing is trying to keep things under budget. If it's at budget, it's over for me. I will negotiate you so much to where you'll give me what I want to shut me up. So budgeting and managing funds and realistic expectations for the budget is a huge, huge thing. So if you don't like managing money, do not be a producer. Just don't do it. Also, you know, there's all the administrative things and getting licenses and
lots of paper.
Permits and, you know, calling locations and doing call sheets. But it's not really part of the job, but I tend to do that as a producer. I get very, very close to my directors, and I pretty much will do anything to keep that director focused on the creative process. I mean, I've been on set feeding directors just so they don't get out of the chair and don't leave Video Village. Just keep directing and I will spoon feed you your lunch. Don't get up.
Yeah.
Hi, Haley.
Hi, Haley.
I love that lady.
Hi, Daniel Edlow.
You heard him. You heard him.
Yes. Yes.
That's my wonderful uncle.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of administrative work to it, a lot of research to it. It's not just about, you know, donating money to a film.
And that's a big help, obviously. But Annabelle's brought this up. It almost seems like that should have its own, a different title.
It does, you know, and like I do agree with what you said. A lot of times, you know, you can go into these festivals or you go in and talk to people, and as a producer, you kind of don't get as much credit as you should, because we do a lot of work.
Yes.
We really do a lot of work. And, you know, directors absolutely should get like all the fame and glory. And if you look at the dirt and the grit, that's what we're doing.
She is. She calls me her little birdie. And I'll be honest with you, I love it. I love it so much, because that really is what she does. She's put me into her little bubble, and now I can go and create. And this film's concept and idea and what has gotten out there so far has really given us a lot of opportunities in the most recent, and I can't say more than that. But I have to say that is because I have been able to concentrate on where I need to be right now. And Letty has come in, and Eddie, absolutely, Eddie too. They both have come in and they said, let's do this. We got you, and let's go. And I've never felt more stronger and confident in a film than I do right now. And I am so excited now. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm on a party. We're gonna hit the ground and we're gonna run, and it's gonna be amazing.
I'm just gonna pop up. This was another one.
That's another Shane Morton beautiful masterpiece. And oh God, I wish you know what? It's hard for me. I wish so bad I could tell you that scene.
Just make something up. Make something up on the fly. It's a ghost horse.
No, we're not doing ghost horse. Okay,
well, it's gross and terrifying.
Yeah, and I love the color. I don't know. It's very Creepshow-esque, kind of grandfather.
Yes, that was a lot of insight that I gave Shane. Was I really want to think Creepshow? I want to think Return of the Living Dead. I want to go back to those 80s that we love so much. And I know Slither's not an 80s film, but I really like that one too.
But the thing is, it's like how, you pick the right music that came out at that time. It helps to reinforce it. The same thing as the homages or throwbacks to the horror movies. We're going to stick to that era again to keep it more authentic and also as an homage. And, it's all the pieces fit together the way they're supposed to.
Music really does draw you in to films, because I remember as a kid, the only reason why I went to see Pet Sematary was because of the song. I had no idea what the movie was about, but I'm like, oh, it's the Ramones. I'm going to go see this. Oh my God.
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. Yeah,
that was such a great song. And if you compare 80s horror to the way horror is now, it's so completely different. 80s horror to me was just like, it was very, very fun. It was, you were scared, but it was a fun scared.
It was also tactile and touchable.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry.
It was also tactile and touchable.
Yeah. Which when we talk about like CG and stuff, like the weight's not there. And not to say that it has no place in anything, but I think if you rely too heavily on it, like you can use it to enhance something, but if it's all CG, you could tell it's not physically there. And even if you can't put your mind, even if you can't like pinpoint that, I think your mind knows it.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel right sometimes. You know what I mean? Like even bad practical effects would be better than sometimes.
Yeah, no, it has a charm to it, I think.
Yeah, it does.
That's not necessarily.
You want to look back and think, how did they do that? What did they do to do that if it's not CGI?
Right.
Yeah, there's an art to it. It's the intersection of art and technology working together.
Yeah.
For sure. And like also for me personally, not only do I love doing practical effects, because I spent years doing special effects for like haunts and other productions, but CGI is part of the whole, it's part of the post process. And I don't believe in fixing something in post, quote unquote. Like do it there, solve it there, take care of it right
there. Those are dirty words to me.
Yeah,
fix it in post. Because I'm also an editor, and I think that's what makes me a very strong director. But also Eddie is an editor too. So he can, I've always said that directors and cinematographers have this magic ability because they know how to edit, right? So that editing gets you into a rhythm. You have to, it's like that perfect swing of the bat. You can hear it when it's in a rhythm when you're editing. So you can judge how a shot really needs to be in its sweet spot. Did I say that right, Eddie? Would you agree with me that there's a sweet spot to being able to be an editor and be a cinematographer as well? It's like it gives you a superpower, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I fundamentally believe the best directors have at least a core understanding of cinematography and editing. Shooting for the edit, knowing what your end product is, and knowing how to communicate with like any position is like crucial. A director who doesn't understand the basics of the art of editing or the art of cinematography is operating blind, and they are going to drive a car into a wall as opposed to keep it on a street.
Yeah.
So, a director that knows all those facets is the best driver in the room. So I'm of the school of thought that having that knowledge does just not only make you stronger, make you a better communicator.
Absolutely. I assume you're not going to, you wouldn't waste as many shots if you have an idea of like, you're not going to need to edit this.
Oh, and when you're on set, time is money.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yes, it is money.
Says the producer. Yeah.
Blocking is so much easier too, because you know how you're able to think 3 steps ahead. I have to have it. Like there's a music video I did that I directed, and I kind of came up with a concept for it. It was called Violets in May. And I needed the girl or actress to die. When she died, I needed her hand to kind of go up into the air and then it transitions into the next screen. So for example, so it transitions. So when she puts her hand up like this, it falls into the next shot, and her dead body is being dragged into the grave. It's just like a seamless movement, and I was able to articulate how I needed the hand to fall into place. Being the fact that I'm an editor, I can see how I can edit that hand into different shots, and it went really well. I don't know. I've tried to do a lot of things like that, like vortex shots, or did I say it's a vertigo shot, isn't it? They come down from New York, and we go to that restaurant in Atlanta called the Vortex.
Oh yeah, Annabelle and I went there last time when we were in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, that place is amazing. So good. I love the big skull head.
Exactly. That's what draws you in, and the food is good. It's not just this is a gimmicky place and the food's crap, but the food's good too. So
really good.
It's really, really good.
That zombie apocalypse. Oh my god, every time.
Yeah, I have to bring
what's that one? The zombie apocalypse. What's on that?
Yeah, when it comes to zombie apocalypse, it's amazing. Okay. I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we also have Gable, our artist, Marynell. I hope I said his last name right. I apologize if I did not, but he is our storyboard artist. So we're hiring artists, we're hiring workers in pre-production, and that's been very important to me as well. And I gave you a shot from our film, and I can't tell you where that's coming from either, but it gives you an idea of how we are working with our community and how we are hiring people, and we are staying with true art, right? Real practical art.
Is it this?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Nice.
So I cannot tell you too much. You can make whatever you want about it. Again, it's probably a bunch of guys going to eat some Skittles.
Taste that.
They're going to the Vortex. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to the Vortex.
They're going to eat some Vortex burgers. But we are working with several artists, and that's our goal, right? That's our goal, to continually, if we can hire someone, we want to hire them and work close together, celebrate these wonderful, talented people that we work with.
So is the movie all like storyboarded out?
Almost, but yes.
Do you do that for all your work?
Well, usually I will draw them, but I have moved away from that, and I'm asking someone else creative to do it. And I'm really glad I did. He's a fantastic, very talented artist. Sorry. I gotta beep.
And it was Haley. She's very important to us too.
But yes, he. Where did I go from there? Okay, so
you were talking about hiring people. So
so it's very important for us to continually hire artists and talent, and in every aspect that we can. So that's why we're moving away from CGI. Michael, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for real. Totally.
Oh, she's amazing.
The secret is her hamburgers have like a lot of buttermilk to them.
Yes.
Sure.
But yeah, so we're hiring artists at every step we can so that I can focus on the creative aspect of. So we are doing more storyboarding.
Well, I think it's really come apparent, like you really have your vision of like how this movie's going to feel and look, because you have storyboards, you have music for people to listen to, and that seems like it's one of the most important things about capturing the feel of the movie you want.
Right, absolutely. And if I don't have the time to storyboard myself, I'll use shot deck, but there's nothing like actually having an artist come in and know the proper framing, where things can be aligned, the camera movements in your sketches and stuff. It's very important to be able to communicate with the team, and it makes blocking and everything else a lot easier. So,
do you always do the music, the playlist for stuff you do, or is it this one specifically?
I do actually. I really do, because like I said, I've worked with musicians for a very long time. Shout out the Psycho DeVilles, the Tomb Tones, all them guys. And when I'm writing, I will hear music in the background, or I'll hear music in my head. So Hillbilly Casino, all that stuff. They're wonderful, talented people, goth music. So
Hey, Gable.
Hey, Gable. And he's working on it now.
Get back to work, Gable.
And that's another thing. She's so great at making sure everybody gets done on time.
Yeah, but in a nice way. You look,
Yeah.
you know, she doesn't look like she's
You'd
being
like to
mean
think it was in a nice way.
Right. You fool
It's in a
everybody.
nice
Yeah.
way.
Actually cracks the whip, but the aftercare is great.
She cracks my whip. Can I say that? Where's the words with me today?
Oh, we're still doing that phrasing stuff.
But yeah, she'll even be like that to me, and I want her to. I've said to her, I need hard love, and let's do it, whatever you need. And she gets it. She gets what she wants because she's doing the right thing. She's doing her job.
Well, I joked about in a nice way, but the idea of like, oh, I'm not going to say what I really think to be nice. That's not necessarily being nice to the overall,
right,
the overall product.
Yeah.
You have to trust everyone. In order to trust them, they have to be trustworthy, and you also have to be trustworthy. So again, it just all pivots towards authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Be real about it. And if you spend all your energy just being your true, authentic self, then you have more energy to do what you need to do.
Right.
If you start obfuscating your ideas or attitudes or anything like any sort of lies or misinformation or emotions,
no, that's right.
then you're just, it's too much. You're wasting your energy on the wrong things for sure.
Yes, Haley introduced me to Michael, and he has been working very hard on those storyboards, so it definitely is a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what? They're my faves too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I got the purple hair, but I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Popped up something else here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's another sketch. That one's from Shane Morton as well. Just coming up with some ideas. But can't say too much about that either.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean,
very interesting. It makes me interested. And by the way, I love the poster.
Thank you.
Oh, you just wait.
You will never want to eat corn again.
No, never. You will never.
Corn is evil.
I can tell you that. Letty, you don't mind if I talk just about that one part about the corn?
No, you could give him a little tease.
Huh?
Okay. All right.
Give me a kernel.
Okay. It is a kernel,
wow,
actually.
Wow. That was cool.
A half a cob.
Okay, so let me think it through before I say something stupid first. Hold on. Think before you talk.
You can do this.
So one of our characters, Eris, is inspecting a corn on the cob, a stalk or a corn stalk, and it's dripping red fluid. And as she starts to peel back the husk, she notices there's a gummy, bloody substance and starts to pull away at it, and it's teeth. So it's like it's teeth inside the corn. So
yeah, now you're right. I don't want to eat corn now.
Jeez, we're gonna do that.
Broccoli is really good.
there'll be a lot of there's a lot of great moments in this film, and that one I had a dream about. So I know that's weird to have a dream about things, but I'll tell you something that kind of was cool that helped inspire this film. That's Kevin. Kevin played the father to our film Tell Him, which won special effects awards and all that kind of cool stuff. And the mother was Jennifer Pearl. She's a wonderful actress. And my son played the little boy. So in Tell Him, and that film went to Smodcastle, and that's why we met them. Yeah. So it's taken us places and met more people. I don't know where I was going before I jumped on this.
Eric?
So
peeling back the nasty corn.
It was just after Nancy.
Oh yes, okay. So it is cool. I've already envisioned the whole entire thing in the scene, and I'm one of those that can see words. Does that make sense? Like you can tell me Dracula, and I picture Dracula in my head, specific ones, you know. So when I'm editing and when I'm writing, I see the whole movie playing in my head. So, and that's why I can see the whole entire, how it's framed, everything. So it's really kind of cool. But what I wanted to say, and I feel like I'm talking too much. Before this is very fascinating. So before the thing that happened, the event that happened that inspired this film, for 2 weeks leading up to the horrific event with our family, I kept waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what it was. It was hot, cold, noises, nothing. There was nothing. It just kept waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I don't know why. And then up until the day we went to go stay in an RV in Geneva, Florida. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd wake up and I would hear a scratching all the way down the side of the RV. And it was just really loud and it was scary as crap. I'm not saying that that's in the film. I'm just telling you what happened. But that happened when I woke up again at 3 a.m. And then after this massive event that happened, we wrote this story together in a car about that's going on 4 years now. Yeah. It was
a long drive back up here.
It was a long drive. We wrote this whole story together, and it's evolved since then. But then I stopped waking up at 3 a.m. every day. So it was almost like something led us to this direction and was telling me to pay attention. That whole event happened, and it inspired a whole series, the story. So. And it's very, would you say Silent Hill?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very Silent Hill is what happened to us, if that makes any sense. It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary.
So, do you wake up and like write that down right away so like you don't forget all of it?
Yeah, you have to.
Yes.
You have to keep a journal by your bed.
Ask him how many journals I have.
Stacks.
They're like a lot.
We actually cleared off all of it, the whole shelves. All these shelves were just notebooks.
Yes, maybe.
Did this real quick.
Maybe.
Lose Your Face Films. Did you guys have
Lose
a film?
Love Your Face.
Love Your Face. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, Love Your Face.
I like
Lose Your Face. Though, is
Face.
kind of cool. Though, Love Your Face.
That's the horror imprint.
Yeah. I just think horror automatically. Love Your Face Films. Did you guys have a film at the Smodcast Film Festival when you guys met?
Oh, yes, we did.
Go ahead.
It was a 21st Century Courtship. It was a, weirdly enough, it was an 80s inspired modern take on dating. So the short and skinny of it, it's about a woman trying to find herself in the dating scene and trying to find love and remembering a time where she met a long lost love on the floor of an 80s dance club. So there's this whole nostalgic thread throughout the movie that ties back to these moments, her love of 80s music. So the film takes on a very retro aesthetic. And I guess that's kind of what brought everybody together, because I essentially made a modern romance movie that looked like a film that was shot in 1986.
With an 80s soundtrack.
And with an 80s soundtrack.
Yeah, so isn't it how we already had that story written? It's a goth 1980s. We met before we saw their film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were coming to see us, our film, and we met in between and we just talked and we hit it off like that. And then I find out that that's an 80s film. The lighting was beautiful. It was shot beautifully. I was so inspired and thought, these are our people. They need to be a part of this film. It's almost like they are just one night, if that makes sense. Not the film.
And the theme song was Only One Night.
That's the theme song for
for our movie.
That's really wild. Yeah. It had to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just like we keep having these synchronicities that just continue to happen over and over and over again. And it's like, this is going to happen.
Annabelle wants to know, where is that film? Where is this film? Because it sounds lovely. So is it anywhere for people to see currently? Or
It's currently screening the festival circuit. I think up until September, and then September we'll probably have an online release.
Yeah.
But around then is probably when we're going to start figuring out the logistics of making it into a feature, which I know is on our plate down the road.
Annabelle, send me a message. I'll send you a link.
There you go.
Sneaky link.
Sneaky link.
Yeah, I'd like to see it as well. So.
And they were at Soho too.
Yes, Soho International.
Yeah, that was our world
California.
premiere.
Majority of the films that we're currently writing and ones that are already completed all have 80s aesthetic and all 80s soundtracks. Like whenever I write, I write listening to music. And if I don't have music, I can't write. Music is very inspiring to me. We'll put on music and just write.
We all do that.
We all do.
Now we look back at everything that we've written and everything that's done, and it's all 80s.
It's just, it feels right. It feels better.
And it's what we knew, it's what we knew. I mean, I was an 80s kid. Eddie was a 90s kid, but we'll say he's an honorary.
I was born
He was born in 87, so I'll give him that. I just aged you. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Well, I was born in a builder, but I'll give you the honorary 80s. I'm sorry. My bad.
He's an 80s baby. So
he was an 80s baby.
Right. For the first 7 years of my life, all I had were 80s movies on bootleg VHSs. So it didn't matter if it was 1995.
He really was an 80s kid.
It was 85.
Yeah. John Hughes practically raised him.
Oh, John Hughes.
See?
So, how about that? What maybe you can't talk about this right now, but for just one night, like what will the soundtrack be? Will it be like actual music from that era? Will it be new stuff that fits like that vibe? Or?
I won't say who we're talking to, but I'm going to look at Letty and say that we are talking to specific bands right now.
Excellent.
And we are having physical conversations with them, and it's positive. We'll say that. That's all I can say.
Very
Is
positive.
that okay? Was that okay?
That's okay.
She's keeping you in line here. Yeah.
And yes, you know them. We'll say that.
All right, well, that's very exciting.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Yeah.
We have our dream, and then we have, so if we can't achieve our dream, there's, I don't want to say there's the A team and the B team. Everybody's an A team.
I always think that's just a good advice. So for everybody, sometimes people ask me, how did you get so-and-so on the show, whatever. So it's like, you just ask them, words they're going to say is no. I mean,
Yeah, honestly, you're right.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst thing a person can say is no. But I think a lot of times you will get a yes because people are afraid to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists, if they think the movie's cool, it's like, oh yeah, I'd love to have my music in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, let's look at Stranger Things and Kate Bush. The song hit the charts and stayed there for a very long time. She hit a full million, even in today's time.
She got popular. Anything that gets her popular is great.
Right.
Absolutely.
So we're talking to these bands. I'm just trying to be careful.
Sure, I understand.
I mean, definitely with the music and the subculture so intertwined, you have to what I would like to see at the end of the day after a movie comes out is I want to see that cool soundtrack attached to it, because when you think about movies made in the 90s, you think about the soundtracks. I mean, like Spawn, Judgment Night, The Crow, they have perfect soundtracks for these movies that you would cruise around and listen to while driving. That's what I want to see.
The Crow is all over my playlist. Which speaking of, we can now say that Rock with Siren and Love Your Face Films, if they can make it down because they're traveling everywhere. May 14th, Rock with Siren is sponsoring an event, which is the Crow 30th anniversary. And that is May 14th And Rochelle Davis, who played Sarah, will be coming down and will be doing a Q&A with us.
Oh, that's wild.
And the father that played And Tell Him, who's Kevin Marshall, very grateful for him for introducing us, and he's going to be hosting that event.
Awesome.
We have several licensed companies that are coming out too.
Oh, for real.
Creature Cosmetics is coming out, and a couple other ones that we haven't got a final sign off yet. So, boom, yes, badass.
Yeah, this year is also my 30th graduation, my 30th anniversary of graduating high school.
Like, you look like
we're the same age.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, I think mine's 32.
I'm not going to my high school reunion. It's just going to look like an 80.
Yeah, probably not either, but it's the 30th, year. So.
Yeah, that's
Look at all these old people I'm surrounded by. Talk about that's why I won't go to my high school reunion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought there was a knock.
I know. I love these people.
No,
I'm like this because of the people in high school.
Right. And I'm pretty damn cool.
Annabelle wants to know. Oops, I hit the wrong one. What are your thoughts about the new Crow?
I need to say this. I don't like talking about other people's art in any kind of way, especially without seeing it first.
Yeah.
I think that is an inappropriate way to behave. And I just feel like there have been trailers that have come out that I thought, oh, that's going to be shit.
And they were great. Yeah.
And the movie blew me away and it's probably one of my top 10. Right?
And reverse of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see something like, oh, this looks great. And I go see it like, wow, that was,
And you will find that a lot of times I try really hard and make a lot of effort to not say anything about a movie I disliked too, because my films that I write are very personal to me and my experiences. Just One Night has got a lot of my own personal stories in it. And the director or the writer wrote it that way because that is what they were most passionate about. And also, I'll say this. I am a franchise-aholic, man. I don't care. If you're giving me a candy bar, I'm going to eat it, as you can tell. But, like, for example, Ghostbusters, people talked about the Ghostbusters films, and I haven't seen this last one because I've been busy working on this film.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Who doesn't have time for movies right now?
Yeah, you can't go.
We have to work.
Okay, I promise. But I don't listen to what other people say either because, like I said, I love the fact that you're taking the time and paying a lot of money to give me another story to a story I already love, another outlook to that. And I just look at things a little bit differently, So as far as like The Crow, I'm excited for it because The Crow is a franchise that you're giving me candy and I'm going to take it and I'm going to love it and be thankful that you're giving me another piece of art. Maybe that's not the right way to think about it, but I try really hard.
Maybe 30 years from now, people look back, like what you're saying about the soundtrack for The Crow from '94. They'll look back and say, hey, that was the soundtrack that I loved when I was, when I was 20 or 18 or whatever,
Or maybe the soundtrack from Just One Night.
That's yes, exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, and for the record, even as a Crow fan and a James L. Barr fan, like being able to meet the dude and being really into the comic book more than anything else, I saw that I was kind of like about the main character design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But after seeing the trailer, I'm sold. Like
I agree. When I saw the still photo, I'm like, but I saw the still photo of the Joker before and be like, whatever, then that's great. So I kind of know not to really judge anything but I saw the trailer and I thought actually this looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm in 100%.
We were thinking that The Crow is a goth film that makes a definite statement, and Just One Night is also a goth film that is enriched with a lot of statements, I guess. I'm trying really hard to not say too much. So.
And to be fair, the original Crow is kind of like RoboCop for goth kids.
I like that.
I actually heard the soundtrack of the movie before I even watched The Crow.
Oh, really?
The first few notes of that album just take me right back to that moment
Right.
that I first saw it in theaters. Like,
yes,
everything about it.
Any movie that's going to play The Cure, I'm in.
For real.
Just saying.
We're getting back to Just One Night here. I got some more photos will pop up, and you can let us know what these are.
Okay, so that event that happened on that property. That is
wow.
yes,
Yeah.
and it is very Texas Chainsaw. And
I was thinking that. Yeah, that's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we happen to have Allen Danziger on the show before you guys.
Yeah, we were seeing that. Was checking it out. It's awesome. But so you would go down. There's another photo in there where you would go down this 2-lane path. So that was a little pond.
This one
That's
probably
it right
wasn't.
there.
Yeah.
So when you first enter that property, like all of the there's no sound. There's absolutely no sound. There's no wind. There's no crickets. And that is a frightening experience to just suddenly be without sound after a storm, right? So we were driving down this and this was before the incident. It was so creepy and so ominous that I was just kind of like, this is kind of spooky, right? Because you can't, if another car came down that road, you really couldn't go to the left or to the right because of all the dirt and the mud and stuff.
Yeah.
But our RV was locked in a property up there on the right. And I'll just tell you real fast. I'm sorry if it's not too long. But, you see that road at the very end of it, a giant truck. We're talking one of the big wheels with the guns on the racks and all that kind of, you know what I'm talking about, with the flags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a square body from like the mid 80s.
Yeah, it was scary. Let me see if I can speed the story up. So it showed up there out of nowhere, and every time we'd move forward, it would go backwards, and every time we went backwards, it would move forwards, and that's what pretty much started the whole entire thing. So, and then there was more to that story, but we woke up at about 3 a.m. and the lights had filled the whole RV. It whited out.
Wow.
And it was that truck
What?
inside a locked property at night. And there was no cell phone service and the hotspot was down.
Mm-hmm.
I think just even seeing that photo, you kind of like, it's kind of an eerie photo. It's like, where does this go? It kind of just goes down into the woods, like like you said, there's only really room for one car. And
it was
it's not a particularly well-made road.
And when we were in that RV, it had a flat tire. It was everything you could possibly imagine happening.
Perfect setting.
Yeah,
Perfect setting.
It was so scary.
All the makings of a movie.
Yeah. You ever been in a haunted house and you've been in that whiteout room? You know what I'm talking about, where the fog and everything's just pure white and you can't see anything?
Only the best of haunts have that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Well, when you come to Georgia, we'll take you to Paranoia.
All right.
But it was frightening experience. That's what that RV was about. The guy in that truck ended up in the property of a locked gate somehow, and had his brights at 3 o'clock in the morning shining in an RV, and we were screaming. I mean, it was scary. And then before that, there were scratches all up the RV. It was moving the RV like this, and it is horrifying. There's more to it, but in the end, we lived, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
And he kept going.
And now you made a movie out of it.
Yeah. Or was it nothing?
Or
was it nothing?
Maybe it was. Maybe it just inspired it. It did. Yeah, but there's no, there's nothing that happened there that happened in the film. So, but it was a real inspiration. Well,
art.
Never mind. I'm just going to shut up.
Life inspires art.
Sounds like
But,
something. Damn. Actually, I have a question for Letty. Asking you, so I'm curious, Letty, what challenges do you foresee having to conquer as a producer in regards to just one night, and are you excited to conquer them?
I am excited to conquer them. Bring me on a challenge. Bring me on a challenge.
Probably anything corn related.
Yeah, definitely. Anything corn related is going to be challenging.
You know, we chose a cornfield, and I'm not going to tell you too much, but have you ever been inside a cornfield at night?
I have not.
Dude, it is a little terrifying.
I challenge you to, and I'm not talking about going to no corn maze. I said that with a whole bunch of Southern attitude. But truly go and stand in one. Just take a couple steps into a cornfield alone.
Yeah.
And
It's
you will,
eerie.
it is really strange because especially when it's about to be harvest, the corn stalks move in the wind and it makes these sounds. And I swear I thought I heard a child screaming in a sea of corn. And then I turned around and said, we gotta go. It's time to go. But that is frightening. That is really frightening. Yeah. But
So basically, you scare easy, but making movies is cheap.
What? I think the having a good imagination is good and bad. You can create stuff, but you can also create stuff in your head that might scare you. So
yeah, it's Poltergeist gave me chlorophobia. And I still have it to this day. So every time I'm around a clown, I get sweaty and I start to just kind of curl up, and and I think maybe that's what's happening with Letty, is that it helps her conquer her fears of horror.
But you know what? It's so funny that you mentioned Poltergeist, because prior to this interview, we were watching something and Poltergeist, was on the show, and I turned to Eddie. I'm like, that's one movie that did not scare me.
Oh, wow.
Poltergeist.
It scared me. It scared me.
Did not scare me.
Yeah.
But Children of the Corn messed me up for the rest of my life.
Children messed me up altogether.
Oh my God.
just children in general.
Just children.
Yeah.
I have two of them. I'm really messed up.
Don't bring them to the
I
cornfield.
remember being a child, and back in the 80s, there wasn't any leave your kids with a babysitter to go see a movie. No, you were going with your parents to see these movies. And, I remember my father saying, either you suck it up or you cover your eyes. That's it.
Yeah.
And my father took my brother and I to see Children of the Corn as children. And that movie messed my head up. Even now, as an adult, I still have flashbacks. And I yell at my father, why did you take me to see this as a child? But now he can say, well, you wouldn't have your job.
Exactly. Yeah. That's funny you say it, though. I said this many times on the show. So single mom, my brother's 9 years older. She would take him and his friends to the drive-in, and they would just bring me along because, like you said, you're not going to get a babysitter.
Nope.
So I'd be like 4 or 5, and the first movie I have any recollection of watching is Night of the Living Dead, and I was very little, and I remember that it's the scene where the pickup truck blows up and they're eating them. And I was crying, and my mom looked back and said, oh, they're just having a barbecue. And I was like, all right then. And I turned out okay, I guess. I don't know. But
I really love Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, for sure.
Where he's like, send more paramedics.
Yeah. I love that movie.
That was the concept of zombies talking and actually, you know what I mean?
I don't think that movie gets. I mean, people love it, but I don't think that movie gets enough credit for it's also the first movie where they talk about eating brains, and now I think people just all associate brains with zombies.
He said everybody eats brains now.
Yeah. It started the trend of going out and eating brains. But.
Yeah, screw bath salts, man.
Yeah. It's cheap plug. It's playing next week at the Coolidge Theater for anyone in Boston. It's the midnight feature on Friday, I believe. So.
Nice.
Got to see it in theaters. You have to see it in theaters.
Yes.
The more scratchy the film, the better.
And original 35 millimeter. It's Zombie Month. They're showing that Friday, and Night of the Comet on Saturday.
Oh, so good.
Wow. We just watched a couple of months ago, we watched The Thing in 35 millimeter. That's a horror film that is ahead of its time.
Yeah. And it wasn't like beloved at the time, but now, which is really crazy to think about.
I mean, it was up against E.T. So.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like the more, not I don't say feel bad, but E.T.'s like a feel good alien movie, and this is not the feel good alien.
That make a good double feature.
Yeah. The sequel to E.T.
We were talking. One of the things that really impressed me about Eddie too was how he wants to make the camera a character, which is really that living dead feel, right? It's that I'm sorry, it's more the Bruce Campbell and I just had Army of Darkness, Tom Savini, all that stuff. I'm sorry, I can't even think today.
That's all right. It's late.
Just making the camera a character and really, jiving with those films. And I think that's also a technique of the 80s. There's not really a lot of, I take the Evil Dead Rise did it really well.
Yeah, but that's more because it's part of the Evil Dead,
exactly.
Do it, yeah.
But that was something that really impressed me with Eddie too, is that he was all about doing that. And that's what I want to take this film back to too, was this, you are immersed in the horror. And I think that feeling that camera movement is a lot of that. So
a lot of kinetic motion and kinetic movement to really roll with the exhilaration.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that was heavy in that. So
what kind of like 80s horror movies then, Eddie, would you say are kind of your inspiration to, for this one in particular, like to kind of capture the vibe of?
I mean, first, like I'm bouncing through the gamut of like The Thing, like Dean Cundey movies combined with Sam Raimi's Evil Dead trilogy, just a camera that's constantly trying to hit its like target in terms of like staying with the energy instead of creating the energy with the edit. Use the edit and the camera to do something that'll feel like a roller coaster, feel like something tremendous is happening. So I want that camera to move like it is a Sam Raimi movie. I want that Dean Cundey, just like that atmosphere and that fog and that Carpenter touch that I feel like a lot of films nowadays are trying to capture, but a lot of films kind of come up short. And I think it's an interesting homework assignment for me to actually go back and study like the lenses and like the film stock, and not even like just the film stock, but also the same film stock was used on so many movies throughout the 80s, a very specific type of codec. But why does a movie from 82 from a singular cinematographer look significantly different in the same conditions in 89? So I want to look at like even the printing process. I want to look at like the science and the resources available at that time and be in a position to utilize that to create the look of the movie. So it's like I have to like do 4D chess to actually really capture how an 80s movie should look. It's not a movie that takes place in the 80s. It's not a visual style that's meant to emulate the vibe of the 80s. I want it to look like it was shot in 85. That's how my approach to it is.
It's funny. I was just talking to someone about Tom Savini, and I meant Sam Raimi. It's just so funny. It's like all these, like I love the FX legends that are out there. So I've got a huge heart for Tom Savini.
When you talk about practical effects, when we had Tom on the show, he said the most fun he ever had was making movies before there was a set like way of doing everything, like just coming up with problem solving, like how are we going to do this? And like a Maniac, they actually stuffed like the head with a fake head with a bunch and actually shoot it with a shotgun in the middle of New York, and then which is probably not the safest thing to do, but
guerrilla filmmaking has its sure. That's why we love doing indie film. It's like that's where you have the most control over everything.
I actually got a chance to watch Rob Zombie's make Halloween. There's a scene that didn't make a cut, and which was Michael Myers was hanging somebody from a tree and they cut that out. I don't think they put that in there, but they but that was really interesting. It was right next to a church. So there was a lot of death in the middle of the day right next to a church, and Rob Zombie shouting in a megaphone saying more killing. That was I try to immerse myself in horror just because it's how to do things. You were talking about how Tom Savini likes to figure those problems out, and that's a lot of what I do in my everyday work. Is I figure out problems. I'm a UX designer, so I use that research and analytics to figure out what's the problem and break it down. And that's a lot like filmmaking too. Is like, how can we do this and make it look really just authentic? Take,
Annabelle says no crackling and grainy screen on loop, which, when someone tries to make something look like it's, on film, and they basically just like on Premiere, and you hit like the default grain or whatever.
We know when it's default. We always know when it's default.
That one piece of hair.
Yeah, right.
right. Yeah.
It just keeps repeating over and over again.
Does the movie take place in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I figured it did, but that one,
No. I had to think about it for a minute because there's a flashback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flashback.
So that would be
different era.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No.
Can you talk about the cast at all, or?
Well,
if not, we can do it. We can do, a follow up.
Yes, I would like to do a follow up because we're just very excited to work with this team. It's going to be amazing. Everybody here has their own talent, and I'm in awe of every single one of them. So there's so many to talk about. So.
Yeah. We also do want to mention, though, Buried Alive Horror Film Festival that's coming up. If you'd like to let everyone know when that's going to be and how people.
Yes, so I am the film director, film festival director of Buried Alive.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Buried Alive Horror Film Festival. It's been running for this is in its 17th year. I took it over from Lucas and Blake, who are still involved heavily. And as a matter of fact, we are going to be filming the bumpers tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Oh,
for the new ones. So I don't know if you know, those bumpers are pretty legendary, but the team, Tony Rames, all them guys, Lucas, Blake, Nick, wow, so many people there. Tori, I don't want to miss anybody, but they're all very talented people. And we're going to get to work with them for the next 2 days.
And Haley.
And Haley.
Yeah,
Haley is going to be our actress tomorrow who's coming in. So that's exciting.
Yeah, she's a
love working with her. That is the real monster. It's kind of like the face of the
pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. That came before me. But we actually, the Fangover played at Buried Alive, and it won the overall cinema challenge and the Audience Choice Award. And again, really good team, great people to work with. Jennifer Pearl, Jason was the one that got thrown up on and ate the vomit.
Yeah. I was wearing pants in the opening. Did you know that?
You say that every time. But I don't know. Did you get the trailer? Do you have the trailer?
I do not.
Okay.
If you send it to me, send me a link. I can actually post it here on the show.
Okay.
Yeah. And if not, we'll play the bumpers on the upcoming weeks too, if you want.
Sweet. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, it's November 7th through the 10th, 2024. It's going to be at the Historic Plaza in Atlanta, which is apparently very haunted. So I guess we'll find that out. A lot of creepy things happen around there. And we are also talking to a few people about hosting this event, and we're hoping that you guys will come down and
we're planning on it, planning out our year here, and we have it down that we would like to be there. So very Annabelle and I.
Yes, of course, we would love it.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, we'll get more Vortex Burgers, and someone mentioned a better burger place, so maybe we'll get multiple burgers. I don't know.
Yes, Haley. Yes, we'll do that.
We'll have a cookout.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Extra corn.
Do not.
Oddly enough, I won't go too far in this, but for years I actually couldn't eat corn. I got very sick when I turned 40 and had multiple surgeries, and so I couldn't eat corn, nuts, seeds, and all these things. And then just a few years ago, I could eat corn for the first time, and having it for the first time after many years, it really tasted delicious, and I don't need anything on it. So I hate that this movie could destroy my love of corn.
Well, there's a lot of corn in this movie. I will tell you that. A lot.
Oh, corn. Man, sorry.
Not the band.
Yeah.
The vegetable.
No.
They were just babies in movies, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Although if Korn the band does want to participate in just one night, I'm just saying.
Yes.
Queen of the Damned. Everyone loves that soundtrack.
You can give me a little ring-a-ding call, and
we've actually been getting a lot of phone calls, and I am now pushing everything to Letty because they have all been really great opportunities, and I don't want to mess it up. So, joking wise, but Letty's really good at that type of thing. So if you're interested and you've been trying to get a hold of me, I'm really sorry. Letty is really in charge of that and doing a really great job at it. So I can just continue to be creative over here. And,
there have been so many amazing and talented actors and musicians that are interested in the film and want to know more about it and how to be a part of it. So it's a pleasure speaking with them all.
Yeah. And we're not turning down any other opportunities either. If you want to talk, we will talk.
Yes. If you can hear the sound of our voice,
I'm sorry.
email Letty.
Letty will talk. Letty will
talk.
I have nothing to do
Let's
with
put
it.
Letty's email address on the screen.
Yeah, Letty will talk.
We'll talk. Let's negotiate.
Nice.
But I am, you know what? If I have two things I want out of this film, Neil, in the very end, I will think this film is a huge success if I see these creatures that Shannon and I are creating, people are cosplaying them.
Yeah, for sure.
If I start seeing our creatures out there at Days of the Dead, or I might cry. I might go, dude.
We've made it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be that thing. And I think the other one would be accomplishing something. And we talked about women in horror and stuff like that a lot. And it is a big deal to me because I've actually lost a lot of opportunities because I did not have genitals, like specific genitals. I'm trying to be appropriate. So
you have genitals, just not the dangly kind.
Just that kind of
They're bigger and higher up. Wait, that made no sense. It's late.
I'm so glad you're man. I have been put down in the dirt before, and I have been brought back up, and I just don't understand the reasoning for somebody holding someone down just because of their genitals, and it makes me sad because I know some really freaking incredible directors, female directors out there, and I want them all to blossom and kick ass at this. And that's what I'm also super excited about Letty being a part of this too, because she is now one of us, Neil.
I don't know how it happened.
And she's excited about it. That's what I love, is how excited she is about getting immersed in it. And I was like, oh, we're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna dip you in blood and all that kind of stuff. And
I'm ready for it.
Man, she's excited about it. So I'm
like, I have to say, like in the last few months, I actually have conquered quite a bit of my fear, and where the point where I can stay up and watch a horror movie by myself and go to bed with all the lights off and not cry for anyone to be in the bed with me. I'm a big girl now.
Yeah.
I really, proud of you. Thank you. I mean, can you give me just a little pat on the back, because I like this is Neil, this is a huge deal for me. You say boo and I would jump. I mean, look like, and I may dress like I was really into horror, but yeah, I was not. I'm like this. But now I'm actually watching and not covering my eyes, and I'm excited about certain films coming out. There are still some films I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm just not gonna watch that. Like what that new one that's out? What is it? Immaculate?
Immaculate? Yeah, I think we might go see that Sunday if
No,
yeah.
you could not pay me.
Oh, come on. You're not into nunsploitation?
No, I'm not going to do that. Especially Easter weekend. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, you know,
but I like now going back and watching the films that scared me. Thanks, Haley. I needed that. I like going back and watching the movies that scared me as a child. Now I'm brave. I'm a big girl. I can watch them as an adult, and I look at them now in small steps. And not watching the movie with your name either, Annabelle. I'm not doing that. No. No, I don't do creepy dolls. Can't do that. But now I'm watching, and some of the things like, all right, this is really not that big of a deal. Yeah. And then I'll jump and scream and say, oh, okay, wait, maybe that was a big deal. But it helps that my son Clyde, he's 13, and he loves horror, and he wants to watch certain films, but he knows he can't watch them without an adult. So he'll come home and say, Mom, my friend saw this movie. I really want to watch this movie. I'll hold your hand. Can we watch it together? And if your kid is coming to you, you can't act like, oh no, Mommy's scared. I have to be like, big girl. Oh, okay, I'll protect you. But in actuality, he's, protecting me. He held my hand. We watched these films, and I was being soothed by a 13-year-old child. But now every Saturday when we're not working, he'll come to me, Mom, what horror movie we're going to watch today? And he'll give me some name. I'm like, no, Mommy's not watching that. But, he's helped me, Eddie, Shannon, Jason, being immersed in this and, looking at the script and hearing the story, and now seeing all the photos and all the yucky things that are, being made. I feel like a big girl.
I'll tell you though, I love the fact that we have somebody on the other side of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh eyes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Fresh eyes to experience all the terror and horror for the first time.
Yeah, I was like, and then you have the with Love Your Face Films, you have both sides of that. So you have Eddie, who immerses himself in horror. He loves horror, right? And then you have Letty, who is just, working her way politely through it. But I'm
a big girl now.
She really is. And I will feed back ideas with her and how we can do this. And I'm like, I think, and she loves it. She loves it. And
now I want the gross stuff.
Yeah, she does. It's really funny. It's just like, we're going to get to play in this. This is going to be fun.
Right.
Like, we're going to put some latex on and that sounded kinky, but anyway.
A few days, was it last week? Shannon came. I'm not going to say what it is, but she's like, I had this idea. I was going to put this, certain scene in the film, but I don't know if I should do that. I'm like, ew, that's gross. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's gross. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I want to squish things in my hand now.
It's, you know, and also I have this, the cornfield is a whole different experience. I've been in horror for a very long time. I watched Blair Witch with my mother. You know, I've like from a long time, I grew up with it, right? He did too.
I was born and raised with it, absolutely.
I love that art about horror that you don't get to do with other films, you know? And as long as you can tell meaningful stories by that art, you know, and that's a lot of the 80s too, that those James Cameron, well, James Cameron's not like John Hughes and well, I guess James Cameron too. Yeah.
I love James Cameron. He can do no wrong.
But I love James Gunn. I'm a huge fan. And I honestly am embarrassed to say that I did not realize that he did horror until this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had to introduce her to Tromeo and Juliet. She had
yeah. I've been trying to get Annabelle to see Suicide Squad because the first one I'm not a fan of, but his Suicide Squad I think
is amazing.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, you know, our film. Well, maybe I'm going too far, but our film Tell Him has a cat in it, and it's a sci-fi film. And I wanted the cat. Everything floats. It's very alien, and everything floats in the kitchen. I did.
Oh, it's definitely Spielberg all over it.
It's pretty cool. And then I wanted the cat to float by very slowly. I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah.
But that cat is Sean Gunn. We adopted that cat from Sean Gunn, who plays Ragdan in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, wow.
And I loved that cat.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that cat. It's a sweetheart. But I don't know why I went there, but it was
all right.
It's talking about Weebles.
A cat story is always appreciated. Yeah.
Let's talk about a cat. Absolutely. Every time.
Annabelle wanted to know, I'm having a hard time finding information for Love Your Face Films. Let us know where you can find Love Your Face Films.
Instagram. Well,
we have a website coming soon.
We do have a website coming soon. Love Your Face Films is fairly new. We're just
we have a history in the industry, and it's only been like a year since we came together and started doing work together.
Oh, cool.
But you got years and I got years.
Oh, tons of awards.
Our own banner.
Yeah, Eddie and I actually met at an 80s party on the dance floor, and we found out that we had similar work history. And at the time, we didn't really speak too much because his girlfriend was giving me the stink eye.
That's why she's an ex.
But she's the reason why there's 21st century courtship. Well, one of the reasons. One of the reasons. But years later, you know, I mean, we kind of saw each other. We, you know, kept in touch. We spoke. And then one day, you know, during the pandemic, we started to kind of get closer and, you know, become friendlier. And I took some time off from the industry for a while, and he pushed me right back in. He said, you know what, let's do this. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And we clicked, and we worked so well together that we decided, you know what, let's start this. Let's start this Love Your Face Films. And we actually came up with the name at Smodcastle.
Oh, wow.
That was at Smodcastle. We didn't know what to call ourselves. So Annabelle, if you go to at Love Your Face Films on Instagram, it's just a few months old, but you can go
and she just got on Instagram, so she'll be there. Yeah.
There you go.
She was like
Give us a little
anti-Instagram
follow.
for a while,
It's not too late to back out. From
she also is a big fan of the skeleton hands in your hair.
I do. I actually just took off a skeleton shirt because I thought it might be too much
skeleton
on camera. Yeah, I have a lot of skeleton ring. I'm not giving you the finger. It's just that, yeah. I like bones. I like bones. They're very pretty. Annabelle, I'll send you some.
Very cool.
Oh man. Well, we're excited to take this to the next level. Nasty Neil.
Yes, I'm very excited too. And we'll have everyone back when we can talk about more stuff. So it'll be fun to see where this.
We'll have information soon, I think.
All right. And when more stuff about Buried Live Film Festival comes out, you let us know. And
that'll be the end of May. We are pushing everything out. So the Cinema Challenge, Buried Alive also has a 13-day Cinema Challenge where you have to you come to the plaza and you pick out 2 subject cards and a card against humanity, and you have to make a horror film in 13 days.
That's very cool.
And then it gets shown at the plaza, and you have an audience choice, and then you have also a Cinema Challenge winner, which this is the one of the awards that we got. But I'm hand carving the new ones, like I'm doing them.
Oh, really? That's really wild.
Oh, sorry, you want me to?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then the other one is, we got another one here too, so that's cool. So I really am grateful to Lucas and Blake for their big shoes to fill, and I'm really honored and appreciate the opportunity, and I will not do them wrong in any way. I really want to keep the integrity of the film festival the way it is and what they brought it to become. It's very well known, and it's because of them. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're excited to be there, and very nice that you asked us to come out. So
yes, it's a must. It's a must, and you've got to do another Friends video.
Oh, okay. So we need to bring out Seth Ice. He did that one. All right.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, I think it was just the anniversary of it. I think last week or this week was the 1-year anniversary of this video.
Yes,
I played here, but the music will get us like a copyright strike. So
yeah.
But
yeah, Vanessa is the festival director for Renegade, and we were out there. I saw you and said hello, and
yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, so. I don't think we got a picture, so we'll make sure to get pictures next time.
Yes, absolutely.
I always look back. Why didn't we get more photos of all these things?
Yes. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun, so I definitely hope to see everybody there. Love Your Face Films, please come to.
Yes, I'm looking forward to see more stuff from Love Your Face Films as well. I know the horror guy here, but I like all different types of films, not just horror stuff.
Yes, I huge horror buff, but yeah.
That's the best thing, actually, about one of the great things about being in the horror film community is that if you win awards, usually the weird gross shit you could put up all over your.
Exactly. I think I might have them blocked under one, but I have a few myself.
Yes, you do.
So, yeah.
Yep. And we have this one from Spooky Empire too. So from.
Oh, that's great.
That was actually like my favorite festival so far. They oh my God, dude, they treated us like we were royalty. Practically, they were wonderful people. Absolutely. And Spooky Empire, the whole thing is great.
I have to say, my favorite one was probably Smod Castle. Getting to meet Kevin Smith was amazing. I asked him that one question of like, how are you able to write such deep dialogue? Like, I didn't care about the contractors on the Death Star until you talked about it in Clerks.
Right.
And he just said, I write the experiences and the way I wish they would go or would have gone. And that hit so home for me that it changed my perspective in writing so much. And that's also where I met these wonderful people here too. And so I'm very grateful to the Swad Castle team. Because they didn't just put on this amazing festival. Now they're having people network together to make films. And that's what I love about film festivals, because people meet each other and they make things together. And that's
how I got involved. I was going as press, and then someone like, let's make a short movie, and we did. And then when led to feature films. So it's been an exciting time. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can just go and watch some great crazy horror movies or whatever kind of movies you're into, some of the stuff might pop up on Shudder a year later, or sometimes it's kind of bittersweet. You never see them anywhere else, but you saw them. Or at the very least, you got to see them on the big screen as opposed to
with people. The audience reaction, I think, is the best part.
Completely different experience.
When they laugh and scream and cry at those beats where you wanted it to happen, that's the best feeling in the world.
And a lot of the short films you're never going to see like on the big screen or with people, like you're saying. And sometimes there's no platform for all of them. So,
and I'll tell you, I've seen most of these films. I'm not done. We've gotten a lot of entries, but I've seen most of them, and wow, I'm speechless. And I'm not a judge, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Don't.
Yeah. Sorry.
I do accept gifts, but I'm not a judge.
I'm not a judge.
I'm not a judge.
Bribed.
That was really important to me because, like I said, I'm immersed in filmmaking, and I know so many wonderful people. 9 times out of 10, I know that filmmaker, and then I'm like, I really want him in there.
But you can't be biased.
Can't be biased.
I would. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and I just would rather step myself out. And we have some really wonderful judges this year, some celebrity judges, and so we're excited about it. Yeah. Oh man, I feel like I've talked way too much. I'm sorry.
This has been a great time, and I want to check out more Love Your Face films and what you guys are doing in the future. It was nice to meet both of you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. And where did the Rock with Siren name come from? We got the origin of Love Your Face.
Like I said, I worked with a lot of bands, and I was a photographer in Atlanta and kind of got well known with my photography and art. So I was always rocking and rolling with my music family in Atlanta, and I'd even travel with them.
Yeah, Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville, and I went all the way out to California and came back. And anyway, so I've also liked mythology. I love the story of the sirens, and just how with song it entices us to come nearer and close, and song can, just like many things, they can save your life and it can kill you. So music can do the same thing, and so that's kind of where that came from, was working with musicians, Rock with Siren, and then but it was more about my photography. And then when I got back into filmmaking, because I've worked on several big feature films. I worked on Zombieland and Goosebumps and Selma. Anyway, but I just kept the name Rock with Siren, and that's really all it was. I didn't want to change it because it was already kind of well known.
Yeah.
And I just said, let's just go with it. People know me now. Now they know me as the director with purple hair. So
that's a great thing to be known for. But Rock with Siren comes off better than the director with purple hair.
Yeah, I just I know it doesn't really work with filmmaking and stuff, but to me it's my own personal story, and I love it, and I want to keep it. So I just stuck with it. And I'm always, every time I see or finish talking to Letty and Eddie, the first thing we say is "Love Your Face." So it's like a signature for them, and I love their name. I think
it's very upbeat. It's completely different than lose your face.
Although that is cool.
Yeah, Lose Your Face is the horror
side of things.
The horror side.
But I can't wait till we can share so much more with you, Neil. We just kind of got onto this train. We can't stop, and we're excited to be on it, though.
Yeah, it happened real quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's very exciting. And next time, Annabelle will be here, but she was very happy she could join in the chat.
We love you, Annabelle. We hope you feel better. We love you.
Hope to meet you soon, Annabelle. Yeah, we shall meet you soon. Yeah, send me a message. We'll send you a link.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
You know,
Of course,
Yes.
anytime.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who came in and made comments on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, it
thank
was
you so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun comments. A couple I just kicked out, but 99% of them were very cool. So.
Apparently I'm Dave Blaine's wife.
Yeah, I noticed that. So
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but okay.
well, congratulations. I don't know.
Thanks.
Never look at the comments.
What?
Never look.
Did I miss that? Oh,
Yeah,
I
honestly, the vast majority were all
It was
very nice.
best to not be in the chat.
Yeah, probably would have
No,
been.
honestly, the 99% were great. Everyone was really nice and fun. So.
I want to
Awesome.
read that 1% though.
I bet you do.
All right.
Anyway, Neil, thank you so much for
Yeah,
everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Great.
Keep it nasty, Neil.
Thank you.
Keep it nasty, Neil. Nice.
We're gonna play us out with the music of the month, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Love your face.
I waved with the wrong hand.
Hey, I meant to hit remove, but anyway, I'll see you guys all later. Bye.